to the FanBoy Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Imusuo on Franco.
Beautiful. I am the other half of your host, Manny Fresh, and that's fresh with a PH because I have a PhD keeping it fresh.
Nice, nice. Today we are joined by a special guest from the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yes. Excited. And nervous.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
It feels like we haven't recorded in a while, even though it's only like a week or two.
Yeah. Like
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say like this little break, or like the fact that like we got our stuff done and had it recorded and out. Like it freaked me out when you were like, "Hey man, podcast is coming up again." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And you're like, "Yeah, the FanBoy Podcast." And I was like, "Yes,
That's
the FanBoy Podcast. I'm back. I had to go get my super suit from my closet, made sure it still fit me, like the Red Guardian in Black Widow."
Yeah.
I was like, "Still fits." Yeah. So that's exactly
I've been recording different podcasts in between, so I'm like, "What podcast am I on today?"
I heard about the person that made the original Wrestling Kingdom logo and the Friday the 14th podcast. That kind of hit me, man. I was like, damn, dude.
Wrestling Tacos logo, the second.
Yeah, the wrestling
season.
Tacos. Yeah. And then the Friday the 14th one, and I was like, man. I remember that was just like a small little idea that I was like, this would look cool. And then you were like, hey, guess what? Got it done. And I was like, no way. And you're like, yeah, man, I know this guy that. And I was like, so freaking dope. And that really like paved the way as our like second podcast besides the population. That really helped us because I was like, yes, we got a logo for this one.
Yeah,
so.
he had a battle with cancer. I think he had for a few months, and unfortunately lost as of today of recording, which is Tuesday the 2nd, I think.
Yeah, I've lost a few grandparents to cancer, so I hate it with a passion.
Yeah.
Cannot stand it. It sucks.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, if I had an X-Men superpower, it'd be like to heal cancer. Like that'd be my power. I'm like, yo, guess what I can do? I wouldn't even charge, but then the government would be after me. Because they'd be like, no, you can't just be giving it away for free. And I'd be like, oh, watch me. So then I'd ask for super speed as well. I need super speed.
Yeah, it would be cool, like if you can like take away cancer and give it to someone else. So when the government comes for you, you're like,
dude,
fuck you.
And you can rapid speed it too. So like when you give it to them, it's like you're like a stage that's not even existent. You're stage 10. That doesn't exist. Well, now it does. Boom, and then end them like so fast.
This shit for free, so fuck you.
Yeah, I'm giving it to the people.
Kind of like some rogue type superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like a Robin Hood, but like I'm not like I'm just robbing people of their cancer and giving it to the government that's after me. Like saving lives. I think people would hail me. I'd be like a vigilante that people loved. They'd be like, we love that man. Leave him alone. Leave the mutant alone. I'm like, don't call me mutant. That's offensive. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's what I do. So sorry about that. That was a weird rant. But yes, I wanted to acknowledge that.
Rest in peace. He did help a lot. He created the logo for Friday the 14th, which we still use today. I think after 4 years. And the second logo as well. So yeah, I didn't know him personally, but I mean, he created those two logos, which are classic logos for us. So rest in peace, condolences, thoughts and prayers to his friends and family and fans.
Definitely. So sorry for your passing to the family and friends of him. Cancer sucks, as I said before. So I definitely understand the feeling of losing somebody that you love to that. It's shitty.
Yeah.
Well, you want to get into the episode today?
Let's do it, man. I'm excited because I wanted to show you some stuff since because we did X-Men for the last episode, and since the X-Men, since we finished X-Men, I was in this kit to be like, you know what? I want to feel like I'm a kid again. I want to feel like I was when the first X-Men movie came out, and what better way to do that than go to eBay and see if action figures still exist in their packaging for X-Men. So the first thing, I got this for still $4.99 in its package. Sabretooth in the X-Men movie. In his package, right? Like,
nice.
So clean. $5. I sent the dude a bid. I was like, I'll give you $5. He's like, all right. And I was like, awesome. So I got this bad boy. And then when I went to the Comic-Con, recently. I got this bad boy for 15. It's him whenever he fought Wolverine for the first time. And this thing, it's like pristine. The packaging's like, there's like hardly any wear on it. I was like, part of me was like, I want to open this. Then I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna open it after all. I like him in the package, especially because I'm an articulation freak now, and it's gonna bother me that they lack articulation. So I was like, no, just keep him in his box. He looks nice the way he is. But definitely that was a kit cost because I wanted to feel like a kid again. Didn't really work because I went to go put gas and I was like, yeah, reality set in real fast.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Gas has been going down though.
It has steadily, even though I hear other places where it's like it's not moving at all. I hate the fact that I'm like I do that. I get excited for like low gas. Like I go to Stripes and they have rewards, and I plug in my number and it knocks off 11 cents. I'm just like, yes, look at me. I'm getting 11 cents off every gallon.
It's a huge accomplishment when you get like 10 plus cents off anyway. You know? Like
man, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I'm
like
VIP.
$3.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm VIP here. You know, no big deal. It was free to sign up.
Yeah.
Just had to download an app. It's not that hard. And like, I feel like royalty. Yeah. Sorry.
There was some news that dropped whenever we were gone for the past past 2 weeks. We haven't recorded in about a couple weeks, but
yes.
I think both of y'all saw Thor, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What were y'all thoughts?
Unfortunately,
I know Craig did. Craig did a review, and I don't think his opinion is the same as both of ours.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. So, what were the thoughts and feelings? I mean, I had my gripes as a whole for this film.
Yeah, I mean, I have gripes about it. I do like how they kept it kind of singular. You know, they are moving into the multiverse saga, as they call it. But they kept it singular. They kept it a single story with, I thought Christian Bale did a great job.
I agree with that.
As Gore the Butcher. But, I mean, there are some gripes. It's a Thor movie. I thought it was too comical. The goats were pissing me off halfway through the movie.
Same.
So
same.
Yeah.
I hate the goats at the beginning, but then like towards the end, I started liking them.
To me, for the goats, the first time I laughed, and I was like, okay, cool, I get it. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. The Taylor Swift meme, I get it. The goats, that's funny. And then I hear him a second time, I'm like, okay, a small little giggle. By the third time, I'm like, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. Like, I don't want to hear them again. I don't want to see them again. You can definitely tell that they, like, the CGI used for those goats, like, the reindeer in the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies look more real than those goats. So I was like, it's really not going to affect anything if you get rid of these goats. But I agree. I think Christian Bale's portrayal of Christian Bale, I knew it. I knew this man's going to show up on set and understand the assignment. You know what I mean? And I'm also scared to piss off Christian Bale. I saw him go off on the set of Terminator, and I was just like, yeah, like, no, I do not want to mess with him or even mess up his mood while he's filming. So I saw that and I was like, this is so good. Like, his portrayal of Gore was so good. But yeah, as he said, like, too comical. First, like, the standalone thing I agree with. Like, I think a lot of people, they're a bit upset because they're not like, for me, like, Shang-Chi to me felt like a standalone film. Yeah. It didn't feel like it connected here and there, but I liked that because I'm like, that's what I want. I want this, like, origin, you know. Yes. But it was right before No Way Home dropped later that year, so then No Way Home opened this multiverse. And now people are like, I want a cameo. Ben Affleck better return as Daredevil in the Multiverse of Madness, or I won't go see it, you know. And it's like, I get where y'all wanted, and that's why Marvel was like, you know what, the next phase will be the multiverse saga, so you'll shut up. You know what I mean? But, like, with the comedy, I mean, bits here and there was, like, funny, but then a part of it's, like, I don't know, sometimes I want to see, like, the Thor that we got in Infinity War. The one that just comes down and it's like, yo, Thor's there, guys. Yeah. Thor is there. End of problem. Like, he was ready. Like, he took on Thanos until you hear the, you know, you should have gone for the head. And then when we see him in Endgame, he goes for the head. It's like, that's the Thor I want. And sometimes I feel like Taika, like, washes that over. Like, and I get Ragnarok worked well. It was like people weren't vibing with the first two Thor films. Ragnarok kind of saved this character, and then we got even further progression in Infinity War and Endgame, and people were like, yo, Thor's not one to be reckoned with. We love him. But then I feel like Taika was like, I want to add the same comedy for this film, but I want to overdo it. And what kind of got to me was like, one thing I'm thankful for is that he didn't get to touch the Guardians that much. Like, the way the film promoted it, like, they were going to be there for a while, in which I kind of wanted that, because I'm like, okay, cool. Thor went with them at the end of Endgame, so I want to see how long he was with them and what he added to the team. We don't get that, but then when I was finished watching the movie, I'm like, I thank God he didn't really touch these. I'd rather James Gunn touch the Guardians over Taika. You know, so, like, what's up? Go ahead.
I was just saying, I agree with you. You know, that the first two movies, it's Thor, and he's kind of, he's not used to the world customs, so he's kind of the way he talks, the way he acts, is very unnatural, and it kind of moved into natural ways into Infinity War, and I feel like they took a step back with the way he acted in Love and Thunder, where he was kind of like goofy and
he's like a dumb blonde,
and he wasn't that in Infinity War.
Exactly.
And I feel like that story arc where he was just this badass dude is what everybody enjoyed, and they're taking a step back with it.
And I feel that because I feel like if you wanted to, like, do we have to cut his hair again to get the good Thor? Like, if that's what it takes, and the short-haired Thor is the more serious one, then I'm all for it. And so that was the thing, is like, they make him this really dumb character when he's had such a great arc. Like, the way that Korg kind of explains the deaths of all the people he loved as a joke, it's really what built his persona in Infinity War and Endgame. You know, seeing Loki die, and then, like, seeing, losing everybody he loved, like his mother, going back to see his mother and crying about it because he misses her, loses his father in Ragnarok. Like, we're seeing this really heartbroken Thor to the point where they show how the depression set in Endgame. And in fact, Chris Hemsworth himself fought to keep, Fat Thor at the end of the movie, because the directors were like, when you use the electricity, you'll go back to being fit. And he said no, because it doesn't make sense. He said a person who's dealing with depression over the loss of anybody sometimes takes the route of, like, just feeding themselves, obsessively. And I don't think that my power should take away my weight. Like, that should stay there to show that I'm still very depressed over that. And so I was like, you know what? I rock with that. Cool, Chris Hemsworth, thank you, because that adds to your character. It makes it seem somewhat more real. And then we get this, like, the dumb blonde in Thor, who's basically just the laughingstock between Valkyrie and Mighty Thor, Yeah. And the another thing that, like, another gripe I had about it was we get a very serious Jane Foster in 1 and 2 of Thor. She's very serious. Yes, she cracks a joke here or there, but you see her as more of a down-to-earth. Again, it's like Thor coming to know Earth, and Jane's like this guide. You know what I mean? She's the Rosetta Stone of Earth language. So, like, he gets that, and then all of a sudden, we get, like, this Natalie Portman in this movie, which she had already walked away from the franchise. Taika convinced her to come back for this, because he's like, I'm going to make you Thor. And she was like, okay, sign me on. But she had already walked away because she felt like by the end of part 2, she wasn't able to, like, be as serious as she was the first film, or, like, really embody a serious role. So she was like, I don't want anything to do with it anymore. Right. So then we get this one, and she's just like, I'm working on a catchphrase for when I fight my first villain. I'm like, when did she become fun? I was like, when did you become fun? Like, I couldn't see her as fun because the past 2 films I didn't see her that way. You know what I mean? And then even as, like, in a lot of roles that I see Natalie Portman in, I never see that side of her. So it could just be me not seeing, like, other roles where she may have been, like, very free, but from the aspect of the movie as a whole, it felt off for me. Yeah. Like that being done. So that was a gripe I had about Love and Thunder.
So in my review, I just said, I enjoyed it. I did have a lot of gripes. It's not going to be one that I go back to if I want to watch Thor. It's going to be Ragnarok and Infinity War.
Yeah, definitely.
9 times out of 10, but
Yeah. And I said the same thing. I said I may not have enjoyed this movie the way I wanted to enjoy it, but when it comes out, I'm going to look for, like, the Steelbook exclusive. I'm going to buy it. It's going to be in my collection. It's going to be one of those things in the future that I'm like, we're going to sit through it again. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to watch it again. But it's just, like, it's very few, like, as of recent, very few that have, like, movies that I walked out of the theater in the MCU that stuck with me, that I was like, I can go see this again and again and again. You know what I mean? Like, for certain films, I've done that. The first, like with Infinity War and Endgame, even Endgame alone, I think I saw, Infinity War, I saw like 3 or 4 times in the theaters. And then Endgame, I went to go see like 2 or 3 times. Those are movies that stuck with me, that even if I'd already seen them, I had to watch them again. I was like, I have to see, because I want to see what I didn't miss. And I feel like far too often as of late, the MCU has not left that sting. Like, other than Shang-Chi, where I was like, that was really new. and enjoyable. Yeah. And other than No Way Home, because No Way Home brought the nostalgia, but still had such a way of like adding the serious Peter Parker. We finally get Spider-Man. We finally get, like John Watts said, this trilogy was a story arc for Peter to become his own Spider-Man. We finally get that, and that's what I love so much about No Way Home. But I feel like as of recent, like some of them, like even Eternals, like it just felt like, man, 2 hours and 45 minutes, you could have done so much with this, and y'all copped out for visuals. Like it just isn't like visuals could have looked astounding, but storylines very like out there, and it just felt like some of the scenes were, and so I mean, yeah, Eternals is for another time, but all in all, there was that did happen. Thor: Love and Thunder did come out, and as I said before, there's nothing wrong if you enjoyed the film. I tell people, just because I have an opinion on the film doesn't mean you couldn't have enjoyed it. You're free to like what you like.
It just feels like Phase 4 they put out as we're going to put out these movies to keep making billions of dollars while we figure out what we're going to go and start doing. And I think that's going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths initially. But once we get into the multiverse saga, which I think we'll start with Quantumania, once we start getting into that, we really start getting Kang and all that, I think it'll kind of pass over and go back to what we were with the Infinity Saga. But right now, it's just kind of like, stop.
And it's crazy. Like, I agreed to that because, like, even, like, I thought with, like, Loki and the introduction of Kang that we would see him more in this Phase 4. And then Kevin Feige comes out at Comic-Con and is like, yo, we're scrapping Phase 4 after Wakanda Forever. Now we're introducing Phases 5 and 6. Because originally, Phase 4 was going to have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Quantumania in it. Now, those don't exist in Phase 4 at all. So now it seems like there is a direction Marvel's going, in which I can get behind. But it felt like this was, we got a lot of money. People will watch anything we put out. Let's put it out there. And then when they got fan backlash, they're like, oh man, we overestimated ourselves and our presence, and now we have, people coming at us for making those mistakes. But
I agree with that.
Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff.
They announced a whole bunch of movies. Y'all want to get into what they announced?
Oh, dude, they announced so much, man. And, like, they even announced Blade. We finally have a release date for Blade, man.
Yes.
Which, like, if there is some way to add a Wesley Snipes cameo, I'm not saying that it needs to be done, or now that we have the multiverse, they need to do that. No, I'm not going to force Marvel to bring in people that they probably can't if they don't want to. But I think that'd be super cool, man, to see, like, how they go about this movie. Like, is this gonna be just like played from scratch? And if it is, now sitting through the first two Blade films, are we gonna get this same, like, somewhat dark, like this dark theme? Like, I felt like the Blade films have used a tint in both films, where it's like, when we're, like, even for flashback scenes, it's like, we're gonna put a blue tint over this to let you know that this was the past, and then we're gonna bring color in. I just want to know. They don't have to play the music. We don't need the techno beats for every fight scene. We don't need that. But I'm excited to see what Marvel does with Blade. That's one of the things that I'm like,
100%.
100%.
Growing up, I wasn't a huge Blade guy. Just kind of recently, I started diving into. I watched Spawn with for the podcast, the Cine-Men Podcast a while back. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but it is technically Marvel. So I think if they have the foundation for Blade, and as long as they just do it justice, the movie will be fine. But if they go and try to do something too kid-friendly with it being a part of a Disney property now, it's going to ruin it. You have to stay true to what Blade is.
Blade isn't a PG character. That's the thing that bothers me. You can't water down. You can't. For example, people are like, "Oh, we want Jonathan Bernthal back as the Punisher." It's like, yeah, great, but if we don't get the Netflix Punisher version of John Bernthal, then there's no need to bring him back. Because if we can't see this Punisher kill anybody, then there's no need to bring him. And the thing that bothers me is, like, are we just going to ignore what Wanda's been doing in the MCU? Like, are we going to ignore that she's slaughtering people for no reason and there's nothing? Or, kind of like we ignored what Ronan did in Endgame. It's like, it's fine if you were killing countless people because of who you lost. That's the past. We found Thanos' location. Like, it's crazy to me because it's like, it is scary because it's like, I don't want the Disney Blade. I want Blade. Like, if you're gonna give me Blade, make it R-rated. You know what I mean? Tell kids they can't see this one. Like, just say it. Like, you can't go to the theater to watch this film. You know,
and there's a few things that kind of point to it to where I think that they will give us that Dark Blade, because they are adding those rated R titles to Disney Plus. They are getting they are getting some, kickback for it, but they are adding it to Disney Plus. And so I think they understand, like, yes, we are a Disney company, but we did dive into something that doesn't necessarily fall into these guidelines. So watch it or don't watch it.
And then they even added the rating system with Disney. If like now you can choose up to what rating and titles are in your feed.
Right.
Because I share it with my brother, and my brother the other day was like, "Hey, my bro, I'm trying to watch this, and it's not letting me." And I was like, "Hold on," had to go into my account, make sure his rating was up to like TV mature, and then was like, "Okay, you're good to go. Like, watch your stuff." So I feel like Marvel is realizing that. Here's the thing. When I criticize the MCU, it's because I've been a fan for years. I'm not doing it because I'm some kind of a-hole who just started recently watching the movies and I want to act like I know everything. That's not the truth. It's because I sat through the MCU before the MCU was even a thing. You know what I mean? I've seen all these films prior to the MCU. They're not new to me. And so it's like I want to see the MCU succeed. I want to see them succeed. But I think if you don't call out these companies when they're messing up, they allow that to be the norm. Right. Oh, like, it's okay if people didn't really like Thor: Love and Thunder. It made millions, so obviously the people will still watch it. And it's like, no, had they not got their backlash, Kevin Feige probably would have never canceled Phase 4 as soon as he did. They needed that backlash. It's important. I think criticism is healthy, and you can't just ignore the criticism. So I'm excited. Yeah, Blade was one of them, and I'm hoping, like, even, like, they've said Deadpool's going to keep its R rating, so it's like, if they can give us that, then I'm sure that this film will be... glorious. I just want to see it do good. It's hard to see the main actor as Blade because I saw him as Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage series, but I'm gonna now that's not, like, supposedly it's not canon anymore, but kind of is canon because Charlie Cox is. It's a hard story to but I'm gonna ignore it because I saw other characters in the Netflix series that appeared in the Marvel films, and I was like, okay.
That's another thing. The Daredevil series, 18.
That was another thing that was announced.
18 episodes. What is that? Late next year.
Yeah.
Stay true to what Daredevil is. He's a badass. You can't just give us a PG Daredevil. So.
Oh, man, I was talking to my brother because he just recently went back and saw the second and third season of Daredevil on Netflix, and he's like, "My bro, like, I shouldn't have given up after season 1. It's so good." And I'm like, "Yeah, it takes time to build, but when it gets there, you get like phenomenal writing." And my brother's like, "Well, it's kind of crazy because this was like the first Marvel thing that actually, like, it touched on how his religion played such a big part in the decisions that he made, the decisions that he made while he does this. You get what I'm saying? So I thought that was pretty cool. And I hope that we see more of it in this new Disney Netflix version. I hope we get like a. Sorry, I had to get a sip of something. My throat was messed up. But so I'm hoping that we get a good series. And as you said, I hope they stick with it. I hope Vincent D'Onofrio is able to embody the Kingpin that we saw in the Netflix series. Not so much the one we saw in Hawkeye. I want to see the Vincent D'Onofrio that had like temper tantrums in the Netflix series, because that's what scared me. I mean, the first season he's bashing a dude's head in with the car door. It's like I want that Kingpin. So I'm definitely hyped for that.
There's like 5 shows that they announced, man.
Yeah, I think the only one that I wasn't psyched for was Agatha Harkness.
That you weren't excited for?
Yeah, I'm not excited for Agatha, bro. I don't think that she needed a spinoff.
It looks like Secret Invasions.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a show.
Yeah.
Oh, Echo is gonna be a show.
Yes, Daredevil's gonna be in that one as well.
Low-Key, Ironheart.
Season 2.
I'm excited for Ironheart.
Ironheart? Yeah, she's already introduced in. Yeah, the Agatha Harkness is probably the one I'm least excited for, because it was fun to see her in this film. I don't know if I'm gonna want in the WandaVision series. I don't know if I want. Plus, every time I look at Catherine Hahn, I think that's her name, Catherine Hahn. Every time I look at her, I think of Stay Gold and Ponyboy from Step Brothers. Like that was Derek's wife. So every time I see her, I'm like, I just think of like the her in every scene. Like, I'm just like, it's hard to like pass her off as anything other than that. But yeah, Echo's gonna have Daredevil in it. and so is She-Hulk. The She-Hulk series that's dropping later. It's gonna have.
I'm gonna wait for that to finish up and see what people's reactions are, because so far that looks like they were like, we're finishing phase 4. Let's just put one final piece of shit out there. And
I don't even disagree. I've said it since I saw the first trailer. I was like, this looked fun, but it looks ridiculous. And the more I see trailers, I'm just like when she's dogging on, like, I don't want to be a superhero. Superheroes are this, and she's completely trashing what superheroes are. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, why are you defaming, which was a gripe that people had with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the way they defamed Captain America so much. And I was like, well, you're ruining the sacrifices these guys made in Endgame. Stop doing that. Like, I want to enjoy this. I love Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan. I enjoyed the series, but I'm like, I don't think that the writing has to crap on previous heroes unless they did something completely wrong. You get what I'm saying? In that case, I get it. But that's what I felt with She-Hulk. And I feel like Disney threw in the Daredevil thing because they're like, people don't want to watch it, but if we add Daredevil at the end of the trailer, we'll get them to sit through it. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I think I know Disney's plan. It's probably going to be the last minute of the final episode in a post-credit scene. And then it's like, no, the actress came out and she said that he's in it for like a good part of the time. But I'm like, again, I don't know. Disney's really trying right now to save themselves from the stuff the monstrosity is CGI in that series. So She-Hulk's the last thing. I did see the Wakanda Forever trailer though, and to me, I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the trailer so much because it feels like they had their time with this movie. No part of it felt like the CGI didn't feel wonky or weird to me. Through this whole trailer, it felt like an experience. I sat there and I was like really moved. I was like, wow, this looks like it can save Phase 4. Besides No Way Home and Shang-Chi, this could be the movie that like really ends Phase 4 on a good note. And then we got Namor in the trailer. We have Ironheart in the trailer. You know what I mean? We have a Black Panther that we do not see in the trailer, but I think to me that was enough. I don't want to see another trailer for this one. That's the way I felt. I felt like that's good enough. Yeah. That's good enough. We don't need anything else. It's in November. People can wait. We don't need another trailer. That was fine. I will stick with that and be like, I don't want to know anything else. I want to go in there like, who's taking the place of Black Panther in this series? Who's it going to be, this and that? And people are starting the theories. I don't care for your theories. I don't want to hear your theories. I just want to enjoy this when it comes out. And again, it feels almost like a standalone in a way, too, that they're not trying to make it multiverse. But it's like Marvel said, okay, hush puppies. We got a saga coming out. And we got the Secret Wars coming out, which explains why the symbiote was left behind in No Way Home. So I'm excited because of the Secret Wars that could introduce the black-suited Spider-Man, which it's like, bring it. I'm a little scared that Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty are in the same year. That's something that scares me. And then in 2024, there's like 4 or 5 Marvel films. That's another thing that scares me because even hearing about how so far the have been overworked, the CGI department has been overworked, it scares me. Because I'm like, if you don't give these people their time, it's kind of like, that's what I had. Like in the con, although this was released, another Black Adam trailer was released, and so was Shazam trailer. And when I talked to my brother about the other day was the Black Adam trailer. There's a scene where Hawkman goes at him and he stops him, but none of that I felt immersed in the trailer. I was like, it didn't feel off. It felt like the actor was actually suited up, jumping at him. There's another scene where he's holding Dr. Fate, and there's 4 or 5 other Dr. Fates are fighting. It felt like they took their time. And the thing is, that's what I want Marvel to go back to. You're not racing against anybody. You're not. You don't have to put out 5 or 6 movies to keep us entertained. We started the MCU with just one film, 2008 Iron Man, and that kind of stuff held people off. Like, it wasn't like we needed something. Don't get too big-headed and think you're going to lose your fan base. And that's why I think with artists that make music, sometimes they lose their fan base because they're trying to put out an album every year. It's like, no, man, if you got to... I listen to artists that make me wait 4 years for an album, but at least when I get the album, I'm like, this is going to be on repeat for the next 4 years. It's just that good. And so I feel like if Marvel sticks with that plan, this next phase of the multiverse saga, like if they just take their time, it can be really good. It can be really good. And hey, like I said, I want to see Marvel succeed. I'm not against it, But I mean, I'm allowed to not like some of the stuff that I saw this year and still be excited for what's to come. I'm allowed to have gripes. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, me and my fiance, we're allowed to gripe about each other and be like, well, I don't like that you've been doing this. I've known her long enough to be like, hey, I can say this. I love you, but this is going on. And same with her. Well, I don't like when you do that. You're allowed to criticize me. You know what I mean? So, and that's the way I feel about this. Super excited. There was so much that was announced this past con. I was having a full-on seizure just every time something else dropped. I'm like, let me get hyped for a little while longer, and then another one would come. I'm like, I can't control my emotions. So I'm excited. It's a good day to be a fanboy. It's
for sure.
It's always like every year. I'm just so.
And I feel like DC's kind of getting to that level. You know, we all kind of had issues with their initial start. And I feel like they're starting to get to that level where Marvel was in the early 2010s.
Yes.
And you know, they're taking their time. They're building stories. They're telling the stories. They're not just like
they learned that it wasn't a competition.
Yeah.
They learned that it wasn't a competition.
And if DC can get the ball rolling the way Marvel had it in the early 2010s, where like there's going to be so much content, but I'm all for it.
I'm just hyped that Affleck is returning again for Aquaman 2. They're not done with his Batman, even though he was like, no, Flash is my last film. It's like, no, Aquaman 2 is now. And then I just heard that they pulled back Batgirl from releasing. And I think the reason being is because I think they're going to keep Affleck in this universe. And they're like, now we got to rewrite. You know, because I heard recently that the new president of Warner and Discovery wants them to stick with one plan. Them to stop freaking like random movies and who's still Batman, who's still Superman, who's still this. I think he's more like, look, Zack Snyder had already started as Superman. You already have your Batman, your Wonder Woman. They've all met. Everybody's there. Aquaman, keep it going. Can't say the same for Ezra Miller. I don't know where that's going. We know there's a recast coming for that. But as far as everybody else goes, I'd love to see Henry Cavill come back as Superman. Like I want DC to do well. I want Marvel to do well, and it seems like DC has been like learning to take their time, and I appreciate that. For that.
One thing, like DC they can do separate Batmans. They can have the DCEU with Ben Affleck and still run the Robert Pattinson with the
on the side. Still have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker on the side. There's nothing wrong with that. People are going to watch it. They're going to watch it. That's the thing. Like, I don't know why you're so scared to be like, oh, now we got to cancel this CW series because we're introducing Batman in the movies. Like, you don't have to do that. Yeah. We're okay. Like, just like that. So far, I think one of their biggest rated TV shows is the new Superman and Lois, and it's like we can have a Superman on the CW and still have a Superman in the DCEU. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Fans are going to sit down and watch it. They're going to enjoy it. Stop overthinking yourself.
Yeah, like, you just got to have it set. You got to let them know, like, this is the DCEU and this is just kind of our DC stuff on the side.
Exactly. And gosh, there was a lot, Franco, there was a lot released at Comic-Con this year. There was and even then, I hope the people that listen to this podcast, you're listening to what is being said because this is accurate. This is what needs to be said about these franchises. Like, I'm not a hater. I promise you, I'm not a hater. But I cannot sit here and glorify bad CGI. I can't. You make millions. There's like, and I stand for the ones working in the department that are being overworked. I get it. I know what it's like to work a job that doesn't let you see the light of day. I don't agree with that. It's ridiculous. Disney, ease up, or I'm gonna pull up and beat you up for these CGI creators. I'm gonna take over Marvel, and it's gonna be a Manny production, a Wrestling Kingdom production for every Marvel film from now on.
Yeah, that's the fight list.
Gonna be. We're gonna the fight list. Just every employee that's being rude at Disney is on the fight list right now. Everyone's overworking their CGI department.
Wait, you want to talk about any more news, or you want to get into it?
It's up to you. If you have anything else that you want to say, or anything else that you want to bring up, if not, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
All right, it's your top 6 Sinister list pick.
Yes, it is. And that is the top 6 costumes in the MCU, right? I said in the MCU or just as a whole? Did you? Okay, first of all, I did say MCU. Okay. One of my picks isn't MCU, but it just happened that I was like, damn it, and I meant to message you. But it's only one pick. All the other ones are MCU related.
Fucking up, man. Fucking up.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Do you want me to go first on my list, or you want to go like we did last time, one each, and then?
Yeah, one each. I guess we can go like clockwise. So you and then Craig. I'll go last.
Okay. Cool. So.
Back.
All right. So my number 6 pick is not in the MCU, but the more I look at Blade's outfit, man, the more I fall in love with it. I just think it's so well done for the time that these movies were made. It's just it's not overdone. It's not. It's very accurate to Blade, and it just fits for the screen too. Like it just fits in the world that he's in. He looks badass in it. Even Blade's haircut for this second film, bro. The tattoos on the back. I'm like, bro, Wesley Snipes, you are killing it, bro. You are killing it. It's phenomenal, man, and I can't overlook it. That is my number 6. It's gonna go to Blade. It's gonna go to Wesley Snipes' Blade in the first 2 films. We haven't gone over the third one. That one's really foggy in my memory to even know. But so far, I just love that suit so much. It had to make my list. It had to. It's so good.
I can't hate on it. So
yeah.
My number 6. You see it for a short period of time, but I am a huge Iron Man guy. Star Boost. It's the white and kind of gray suit that they use. I don't know if you played the Marvel's Avengers video game. They use that suit in it a little bit. But it's just white and gray, and it's got huge jetpacks on the back. And I think it's a badass suit for Iron Man.
It is. I've seen the Marvel Legends figures that have him in that suit. And I'm like, I need to pick him up off the shelf right now, immediately. That was really good. That was a really good pick.
I was actually gonna bring up the Blade costume later on, but yeah, Blade really looks good. His whole design.
Yeah, so good.
My number 6 is Mysterio from Far From Home. I like the way it looked. Whenever the pop came out, I went right away and bought that pop.
You were there with me when I found the Marvel Legend.
Yeah.
We were at a Walmart. Oh, dude, that is such a good pick. That costume. Oh my gosh, that is sick, dude. I agree with that. That is a lovely costume.
I love the costume. I just hate how they use the character. I hate how it was all visual effects for him and not actual.
Yeah. That's a that's a gripe I have too. With but I still love Jake Gyllenhaal, so it's like it's like, you know what I mean. As long as I get to hear that crisp, lovely voice, how like okay, I'll sit here and watch the CGI version of you do everything, but as long as I can hear your voice in the costume. That's a good pick, Franco. That honestly hit me because I didn't even think of like villains. I'm so stupid. I wasn't thinking of villains.
It was if I had a longer list, it probably would have been my 7.
Yeah. If I had a long my number 5 suit is because this is kind of hard because I was like I had to push one out of the way, but I call it the Silver Centurion suit, even though it's not Silver Centurion, in Iron Man 2, the suitcase suit. I remember seeing that scene in theaters and just like dying. It was so cool. The suitcase armor, the way it forms, the way it has this nice layer of silver and red. It just, I remember that popped out and I was like, bro, I want to buy a suitcase now. Don't need one, but I wish my suitcase could do that. I honestly love that outfit. It looked crisp. I have an action figure of him. I'm staring at him right now. It's a beauty that you probably can't find it anymore, but when that figure came out, I pulled him off the shelf. I'm like, you're coming home.
And with that, it's not just the suit; it's the entire way that they, kind of showed the suit be utilized and how it was put on. Very cinematic and great suit.
Whole theme and everything. It's just like well shot scene when Iron Man's gonna confront Whiplash at a NASCAR race.
Yeah,
and it's just
the F1. Yeah,
F1. There you go, Formula One. I didn't know Formula One when I was a kid, so now I do. F1. That was F1. Yeah. So, okay, Formula One. But oh man, it's such a good suit. That's my number 5 pick. I mean, 5.
Number 5 for me is going to be Hela from Ragnarok.
Oh wow!
She has the kind of the black shadow around the eyes, and when that stuff comes out, she can kind of make the spikes come out and everything. I just think she was a badass character for a solo film. So,
I agree with that because I really loved what they did with her hair in that film too. Like whenever she would even without the helmet, like her hair was like looking fire. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I want my hair to be that long so I could form it like that. And then like the eyeshadow under the eyes really worked well for the character too. I thought Hela was yeah, that is a really good costume too. Even the way the color stuck out in every scene as well, kind of glimmered off of it. That was really cool. That's a really good choice.
My number 5 is Killmonger. Not necessarily the suit, but like anything he wore, honestly. He had like a vest at one point and it looked nice without the entire suit. And
is that where he has the army pants on too?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
And then that African mask, I think.
Yeah, he has the mask.
Yeah.
I actually have the Marvel Legend of that, and it's one of my favorites, man. That is such a good suit. That's honestly a good choice, man. You're out here picking. This man's out here like I was looking at the villains too. You know what I mean? I've been looking.
The villains are the ones that always catch my eye.
Flirting with the MCU villains. I rock with that, dude. And Michael B. Jordan's a phenomenal actor. I love him.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I love Michael B. Jordan. So it's like, hell yeah. Especially in that suit. I'm like, bro, you can take everything from this museum. You're cool. Just give me an autograph. You can take it back. I don't care for it. I don't get paid enough to protect it. You can take it. Just let me take a picture. You look badass right now. But so that was your number. That's your 5, right? That was 5.
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so a 4 is coming in hot. 4 I had to knock out because there was 2 suits that were in the running, and then one hit my mind, and I was like, oh, I forgot. I really love this suit. But like Moon Knight was originally my 4 because I loved the suit that Moon Knight wore before the CGI. I love the suit itself. It looks amazing. But the one that knocked it out of the park was I was thinking, and even though it was just a small glimmer of the suit in the MCU, Spider-Man's latest suit at the end of No Way Home was just like, to me, made it into the top of into the 4th spot because I think that it just looked it was homage to Andrew and Tobey's, and it was just finally Peter Parker being Peter Parker, finally doing this on his own, and it just looked really good. It had like the I want to say is it the like kind of like a mix between Alex Ross's design and is it Ditko, the other artist for that? I think it's Steve Ditko is the other artist that did like similar artwork. But I loved it. I honestly did. Even though it was a short, I can't wait to see it more utilized and see it like up front. But definitely had to make my list. That's my number 4 right there. I loved it.
Yeah, no. Didn't it also kind of have that like powder blue that's used in the original Spider-Man for Tobey?
Yeah, it did. Yes, it did. Yeah, that's what I love. Like even the spiders on his chest and the back piece resembled both Tobey and Andrew's. Yeah. And so I was like, dude, I love this. I love this.
So my number 4, the suits are very similar. Killmonger and Black Panther. You kind of went with Killmonger's whole attire. I'm just going to say the suits. I think the necklace and everything, kind of the nanotech coming from the necklace. Good. I just think it's a badass. Like the way they thought about that and put it on film is, it's ridiculous how they did it. And I think it all stems from the Iron Man suitcase. They kind of took that idea and put it into the necklace. And,
that's true. Nanotech and stuff like that. Yeah.
That first time you saw it happen, you were just like, that's legit. That's cool. So that's my number 4.
Beautiful. That is honestly a good suit too. Especially the fact that it's all in a necklace.
Yeah.
Like the easiest thing to carry on you. That's dope.
Which I guess that's the Black Panther movie, not Civil War, because Civil War he just had the suit.
I'll be honest with you though, I was gonna say that like the Civil War suit though was also badass, and the fact that like I heard like Marvel went all in on that suit because they weren't sure they were gonna get the rights to Spider-Man in time, so they made sure that suit looked phenomenal because they were like, okay, we got to have something for the people if we can't get Spider-Man. So yeah, the Black Panther suit though, that was the choice in the Black Panther film. It's great. I love it.
My number 4. I don't know if I cheated. I had 2 people. In the Hawkeye series, Hawkeye gets new attire with his sidekick Kate Bishop. Their whole attire together looks dope.
Yeah.
The purple, his purple, like he finally had color, and I think it's one of the comics.
Book accurate.
Yeah. And then,
yes, it is.
Kate Bishop's purple, it's more girly and it's like just pops more. So I like both of them.
Yeah, actually, that's a good choice. Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, I actually did love their suits at the end of and they were made by the LARPers, right? They're the ones that made those suits. Yeah, that was really cool. There's actually a scene when he goes to LARP, somebody's dressed in the old like comic accurate suit of Hawkeye. There's like homage. Yeah, it's like in the background, but you see it. That's a good choice, man. It's crazy. Like that suits were added because now that it's further MCU, now we got the Disney Plus stuff too. But no, hell yeah, bro. That's a good choice. I can't wait I got that Marvel Legend on pre-order, the Hawkeye one. So I'm psyched when that bad boy drops. That was your 4?
Yeah. 4.
My number 3 goes to the Ant in Ant. No, I'm just kidding. In Ant-Man, no. The one playing the drums. I really like the way that Ant dressed. No. My number 3 goes to Captain America's suit in Avengers Endgame. I thought it was so cool that they finally added like that scaly stuff like on his suit that we see in like the old Captain America like comic books. We got this in the form of a suit now, and I just thought it looked completely badass, especially when he's wearing it. And I don't know if it's because Chris Evans is in it or it's because the suit looks good, but all I know is they were both popping. Chris Evans is a good-looking man.
Yeah.
And he was just owning that suit. So that's my number 3 right there. Captain America in Endgame. It's a beauty. I love that suit so much.
My number 3, Disney Plus series. I'm going to go with Moon Knight. I've liked that character. I didn't dive into much comics, but whenever I found out who Moon Knight was, when they kind of were talking about releasing a series about it, I fell in love with that costume. I think it's the way that they're exploring all of these different regions and backgrounds and ethnicities. I think it's very good for not just the product, but for people to feel included. And so the kind
representation.
Not it's just, I don't want to say representation because I feel like that's like, I feel like when people use that, they're trying to say like you need to include me.
No. But I get what you're saying. I actually like your version of it better than that term. Like that homage, I would say, is a better like homage to the different types of ethnicities that are out there is more important to me. Because yes, you're right. Representation does sound like it's like, no, we're forcing this. Like, look it, we acknowledge y'all. Give us a cookie. You know what I mean? So homage, I agree on that. Like that's a better way of stating it, and I rock with that version.
Just them exploring that kind of Egyptian side of things and that character and everything. It was just, I think it all encompasses it in that suit. Not necessarily the suit one. I didn't like the suit one, but the kind of mummy wrapped suit I think is
So I think it's he's Mark Spector when he's
in the suit.
When he's in the suit, and then he's Stephen Grant when he's in the Mr. Moon Knight. The nice suit. But the wrapped one, and then the way it like forms itself on his body, I thought that was so cool, man. I love that design. If I had Hot Toys money, I'd definitely have that baby on pre-order. Because that thing looks amazing. Just to see hold a version of it in my hand. That's why I like action figures. It's like I gotta hold this suit in my hand. So that's a really good choice.
I actually have this one right here. That's it's a Hot Toys version of what is that? Iron Man 3 of Rhodey.
That is sick.
So
that was the Iron Patriot then, right? Or is it Rhodey?
The 3 is the one with the black one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm seeing it from a distance. That's why I'm like, when you said Iron Man 3, I automatically thought of Iron Patriot because. Oh man.
Because 2 is when he had the giant machine gun, and then 3 is when he added like the Patriots logo to it.
Yes, that is. Oh my gosh, that thing is beautiful.
It's massive, dude. Like it's a forearm.
Oh man. Yeah, man. Hot Toys are beautiful figures. Shout out to Hot Toys. Sponsor us, please.
Please, yeah.
shout out to Hot One, please. Like if you want a Hot Toys, if you want to sponsor this podcast, we ain't complain. I'll show all your toys. That's a beautiful figure, man. And Moon Knight is a perfect choice too. That's definitely need to be in the list. Sorry, Oscar Isaac, I love you. But I had to push you out of my list.
I mean, there's a lot in the MCU, so.
Yeah, there is. That's true.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Sam Wilson as Captain America. When he had the wings for Falcon and everything, and the white, it looks amazing.
It looks so good too, man. It looks like so like it fits him so right. You know what I mean? It fits the Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson, Captain America. That's the way I felt when I saw him in that suit, especially when he breaks in through the window to fight Batroc. Because that's where he first appears. I also love George St. Pierre. That's my favorite UFC fighter. But what's it called? I'm like, yo, kick his ass. I'm like, yes, that suit is phenomenal. And the entrance to it was so, oh my gosh, dude. I was also thinking of that suit right now as we were like saying our stuff. I'm like, man, I can't believe I left that out of the list. That's a good choice, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next Captain America movie. I think in 20?
Yeah, New World Order.
Yeah.
Oh. NWO.
NWO.
NWO, yeah. I always think of because he was in he was in 8 Mile as Papa Doc, and then in the song for 8 Mile he says, "As we move towards a New World Order," so I'm like, Lose Yourself has that, and I'm like, full circle. Life is going full circle for Anthony Mackie right now.
If the MCU doesn't get rights for that song, they missed a shot. They missed their chance.
You know what? I'm calling this right now because we brought it up on this podcast. Kevin Feige and the people working on the new Captain America film, if y'all missed the chance to show a badass trailer with that line and Lose Yourself in the background, you are tripping hardcore. Dude, if the Minions movie can take an Eminem song and use it, y'all can use it.
I mean, Eminem was in. He had 2 songs in Venom, both Venoms.
Yes, and then even in the new Shazam trailer, it's Eminem as well. So the man even had a comic, dude, with the MCU where he is in a Punisher comic. So
he loves Marvel. His favorite one's Spider-Man.
Not only were his songs in Venom, I think he wrote the song for Venom.
Yeah. Venom is that's this. It's off the Kamikaze album.
Yeah.
Which was oh gosh, I can get into the that was such a refresher from Revival. Kamikaze was amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna start kissing his ass right now. Sorry, but yes, that needs to be in the trailer, man. New World Order, especially in that suit. I don't even see them want to even do anything with this suit. Just keep it the way we saw it in the series. Because Marvel has this thing where it's like, oh, well, they already saw him in one episode in it, so now let's give him a no. I want to see that suit again. Yeah, I want to see that in the what's it called? In the MCU. I want to see it in New World Order. That's a good choice. What was that? Your number 3?
Number 3.
Okay, so now we're on to number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm an idiot. My number 2 suit is gonna be Captain America again, but it's gonna be Captain America's suit in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. For some reason, I love the I forgot what they called the shield suit. I think it was called the shield. It was called the shield suit. I love that suit for some reason, man. It doesn't even do too much as well, but I just thought it was phenomenal when he was in the suit. I was like, that boy living his best life. It looked great. I remember I picked up a Marvel Legends figure for that movie, and I was just every time I pick it up, I'm like, I'm glad I own you. And then I'm like, I hope Marvel does a re-release because they really need to change some of the stuff on this figure. But yeah, dude, it's phenomenal. That suit to me, that hits my number. That's my number 2.
Yeah, no, that's a good suit. My number 2 is going to be, we talked about it just a little while ago, Thor from Infinity War. The short hair, the kind of all black, no cape, but dude, he just looks. It's not just the costume, but it's the entire Thor aesthetic. It's the short hair, the eye patch, it's all just it's there, and it's legit.
I agree. That's a phenomenal suit. I really love that suit.
Yeah,
almost on my list.
It's top tier.
It's so good. That suit's really good, and I was seeing today that some of the artwork for Thor: Love and Thunder was going to continue with that suit, pay homage to Odin and the suit from Infinity War, in game, but they scrapped it. So I'm like, well, you know, we'd have to have the badass Thor for this movie, so maybe it was a good thing that he scrapped it because we don't want to tarnish the suit with, you know, dumb blonde Thor.
Maybe we get him back. You know, if he thinks that Jane's dead, maybe we get it back and
bring it back. Petition to bring back cool suited Thor. Yeah, we want the cool Thor back. We want the Thor that we got in Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame, and you know we can. Taika, bro, come on, man.
We don't want the impossible.
Not a joke, Taika. It's not a joke.
My number 2 went back to a villain. In the original Spider-Man, or even I think the original Spider-Man was good, but I think the No Way Home looked better. The Green Goblin.
Ooh.
William Dafoe was Green Goblin.
That was a beautiful. I love that suit, dude.
I've always loved that suit so much since I was a kid, and seeing him back with it and everything, and just seeing him back and everything, it was awesome. Green Goblin.
I hope with the more fun version releasing in September, they show us what happened to it between the time that Peter leaves the bridge to the time that they meet up again, because the suit's all like broken in certain spots, and I'm like, what did you do? What were you fighting, Norman? What were you doing while you weren't looking for Spider-Man? Like we see him break the mask, but I'm like, what happened to the rest of the suit? Like, how did that happen?
Oh, right, because he comes in with the goggles, right?
Yes, because in the second time we see him, like the first time we see him, he's in the full suit. The second time we see him, he has the goggles, the stuff's broken on it, and stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa! How did you break your suit? What were you doing? Like, you know, fighting
just
yourself?
Give us a 5-minute scene of Willem Dafoe going crazy. Absolutely batshit crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy it. That's all I need. That's all you need to sell. Just throw it in the trailer and I'll go buy my tickets right now. I'm waiting for them to drop. They're taking a while. Huh?
I want a Funko Pop of it.
Oh, man. Yeah, so do I. I thought you were saying I'm going to go Bible Man on that. I'm like, wait, he made your list as an MCU. Bible Man? Bible Man on MCU. So that was your number 2? Your number 2 was Green Goblin?
Yeah.
That's a good choice, man. Damn, bro. You're bringing the hits today, dude. I'm kind of jealous. I'm mad at myself because I'm like, I got everything in my head. There's so many that I was just like, I remember this one and this one and this one, and I like this toy and this toy. But my number 1 pick now. This is just my opinion. Right before I say this, I'm gonna use a different accent just in case people get mad at me.
Make it feel proper.
But yeah, I'll make it a little proper. You'll be mad. Don't be mad at the American. Be mad at the Englishman. That's me. The Amazing Spider-Man suit from Part 2. That's my number 1. And the reason that I could say it's MCU now is because he uses it again, and now they're somewhat canon, the universes. So it is officially MCU.
So technically, Blade was allowed for your 6th pick. So technically, if it's canon, Blade was allowed for your 6th pick.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if the multiverse is there, Blade is, you know, it has to be. Yeah. These universes must exist. So yes, so the suit is it's used again in No Way Home, but they use CGI on it. But when you see it in like I remember seeing it for the first time on screen in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and just being like, I love this costume. Like the eyes to me scream Spider-Man, like the webbing screams Spider-Man. It felt very comic accurate for Spider-Man, and I just loved it. Not that I hated the Maguire suits, I loved them, but I think for some reason when they enlarged the eyes, for some reason I loved it even more. I was like, I vibe with that because there's so many instances, especially the McFarlane run of Spider-Man comics, we get the larger eyes. You know what I mean? And so to see that come to life in the form of a suit was phenomenal. I saw a clip from the movie where he's talking to Gwen, and somebody said Andrew Garfield never needed to show his face to portray his feelings in the Spider-Man suit. And like you see how like he utilizes his whole body when he's speaking and stuff, and you're just like, it sells the character, but you sell it so well. Again, Andrew Garfield to me is a phenomenal actor too. That's why the man's up there. Like if you see anything outside of Spider-Man, just know you're gonna get some like really good acting, and that's why I F with Andrew Garfield wholeheartedly. But yeah, that was my all-time number 1. To the people listening, don't hate me. I just really love that suit, and all of our picks have been phenomenal. So at the end of the day, you want to come at us on, you want to make it on my fight list, feel free.
Have time. All 3 of us.
Yeah.
My number 1, I'm going to keep it simple. Mark 7 suit, Avengers Iron Man suit from the original Avengers. Has the triangle arc reactor. Just keep it simple. It's a nice, sleek suit. Kind of, the first two were kind of bulky and the colors weren't right. This one I just feel like solidifies and kind of embodies the original red and gold Iron Man suit.
And even with that suit, we had gotten the suitcase scene in Iron Man 2, right? Mm-hmm. And then when we see him in this suit, they utilize like how is the technology is advancing. Because remember, we didn't get Iron Man 3 till afterwards, where we get the nanotech, right? So in that movie, there's a scene where he jumps out the window, and he throws the suit starts to bring itself to him.
Yeah.
And slowly and I thought that scene was phenomenal. I was like, dude, this is so crazy. The Iron Man suit is just, I feel like every movie has progressed. Yes, it's like, it went from like what? It was the wrist things, right? That called it.
He had the bracelets that attached, and then
you get it. You get it all the way. Like that's your choices are good as Iron. What I'm saying, your Iron Man choices are great because, like even like they've utilized the technology so well. Like even in Endgame, as soon as he hits his chest a few times, like near in just a shirt or like a like a zip up a sweater, he gets the whole suit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really freaking good. So I love that. I love the Iron Man suit from Avengers 2012 was so, oh man. Now just thinking about this, it's like, oh, it's been such a journey. To take out these key moments and reflect on them. Phenomenal. Your list was phenomenal.
And just the progression of the details that they put into, they know that Iron Man, Tony Stark, has time between each movie, and he's always tinkering. And the fact that, with Thor having different costumes, maybe not, but definitely Tony Stark, you have to have new costumes and stuff with him because he's always doing something. And I think the fact that they went from, the whole stand where it's getting put on them to the wristbands to the individual pieces getting put on them, and then the nanotech and the glasses, and then just the whole progression of Iron Man and Tony Stark was very well done.
Phenomenal. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I said peace. Rest in peace, Tony Stark. Your sacrifice doesn't go unnoticed. Even if Miss Marvel, the TV series, tried to make it seem like Captain Marvel was the big hero in that.
I think Marvel pulls out the checkbook, and they try to bring back one time for Secret Wars, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, we gotta get Strange to use the Darkhold again.
Yeah.
Just bring back the dead. Let's make it happen. Make it happen, Marvel. We're headed in that direction anyways. Just make it happen. Pretty soon you're going to start using magic and books a lot more. So it's just make it happen. That was a phenomenal list, man. That was really good. That was a really good list.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that was good.
My number one pick, I did cheat a little. My favorite hero is Captain America.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with a few different suits of his.
Ooh, talk to us.
Fugitive uniform in Infinity War, the one where he has the beard.
Like the Nomad suit? Mm-hmm.
And then I also like the Nomad suit, before it's all fucked up.
Yes.
But I think the Fugitive uniform, it just looks good. It's been, he took off all the bells and whistles, took off the star.
Yes,
took off everything. And it's like all, it looks like black grayish. And it just looks good. Then his beard as well on top of it.
Yes, and the hair.
The hair,
it's slicked back and long, and I'm like, oh, you sexy beast.
Yeah.
And then his Endgame uniform as well, the one that you said earlier, the one he wore when he's wielding. I always forget. I don't know how to say the hammer's name with the hammer.
Mjolnir.
There you go. But those suits, honestly, all the Captain America suits have look good. Even the 1946 or whatever year.
Where he's going on the tour and it's showing him punch Hitler and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I like all of them. But that's biased either way.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree. He's had really great costumes.
And that's the same way I feel with Iron Man. Every suit that he puts on is there's always something that's good. And the same thing with Captain America. Like his suit design and the colors fit not only the film, but they fit the era and they fit the mood of what he's feeling. It's all just done very well.
It's crazy because I feel like I'm all for multiple suits if the progression is there. Like if it tells a story in a way, and I feel like Captain America and Iron Man's suit progression has done that. Because you know that for every suit they're wearing, it's like, oh, when he was wearing that blue suit, it's when he was like, you know, kind of on the run from S.H.I.E.L.D., right? When he's fighting the Winter Soldier. Yeah, and then he goes back to using his old suit by the end of the movie. You know, if you're like, oh, remember when he didn't have the star or anything on there? Yes, dude, that's whenever they were like on the run because he chose not to give away his identity for the Sokovia, Sokovia records. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember that his hair was long, he had the beard. And then you look at Iron Man. Remember when he used like that suit in Iron Man 3 and it was nanotech? Yeah, dude, but what about the suit that he was using in Avengers when he jumped out the window? Like and stuff. Like you see that like there are key moments where these suits played a part, and that's why they're so important. It's a lot different when you're just like, oh, new movie means new suit. You know what I'm saying? Right. When the suit tells a story, I rock with it more. Because sometimes it's like, man, we only got that suit for a little while. I wanted it for another movie. You know what I mean? But it was just like a stunt. Like, well, it's a new movie, so we got to give him a new suit. You know what I'm saying? So like,
kind of like, Far From Home, the black suit Spider-Man.
I was gonna say that.
It just kind of throws it in there, and it's like,
yeah, it's just like we got to give him a new suit somehow. And they're like, oh, Spider Monkey, here's your new suit. Yeah. Like this is the suit we're gonna give you for this film. Not that it didn't look cool, because even the figure itself, I had to grab that one off the shelves as soon as I saw it. Yeah. But it just felt forced. It felt like, you know, we're just doing that because it's a new movie, and there's like that progression matters.
New action figures.
Yeah, gotta sell some stuff. Funko Pops. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. New Funko Pops. When those No Way Home ones drop, woo, boy, I'm ready to fight somebody just to get my hands on them.
Yeah, I'm not big on Funko Pops. I got a few, but
yeah.
I mainly go for like the Marvel Legends and
I'm a Marvel Legends stan, man. Like the same thing. Like I have my Funko Pops, which I love, but I'm like also McFarlane. I'm NECA. I'm Marvel Legends. I just purchased my first Mezco figure recently. It came in today, and I was just like, I love action figures. Being able to hold like it in my hands and be like, this is like a miniature. You know, like I have the Stranger Things figures dressed as the Ghostbusters, and I found those again the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh! And so I took them out, and I was like, these are so fun. And it was like, then I looked at the price they were running, and I'm like, oh, I can make money, but I'm not going to sell you because I like that too much. But yeah, I'm a big thing. So again, I hope that we get like a second wave of No Way Home. I just pre-ordered the 3-pack for Hasbro's, the Marvel Legends of Toby, Andrew, and Tom. So I'm excited for those because it's like I need that in my life. It's a plastic addiction. Like it's
a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of money.
It is. Poor wallets.
That was our top 6 sinister list.
Yes.
If y'all have y'all's list, y'all want to drop it down below, y'all can in the comments on YouTube. Next episode, we're reviewing Spider-Man, the OG with Tobey Maguire in 01. It's my pick for the top 6 sinister list, and it's going to be Marvel music. Top 6 songs that have played in a Marvel movie.
Oh my gosh.
Any Marvel movie, not just MCU. Any.
Now, are we going scores, or are we going kind of soundtrack as well, kind of encapsulating all that?
If it was in a Marvel movie, it counts.
Okay.
Whether it played the trailer, not the trailer, the beginning, the end, even in the trailer, fuck it.
Okay. Dang, like that?
Yeah.
That's just gonna be the Blade themes in the trailers.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, we're already an hour into it. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we added a lot this time. We had a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
we did have a lot to talk about. Yeah.
Like usual, we'll play the trailer for the movie we're talking about today, and then Mr. Fresh can give his synopsis for it.
Ooh, yes I shall. Yes I shall.
There's a world beyond the one we know, where the powers of darkness fear nothing but one man. Stop!
represent the ruling body of the vampire nation. They're offering you a truce. They want to meet with you.
You sure about this?
They'll take us in deeper than we've ever been.
Now, those he has sworn to kill need his help to fight a new breed of terror.
They're no longer top of the food chain.
Our forces are ready to fight, but we need a leader.
Let me get this right. You want me to hunt them. For you?
Ooh, so exciting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer.
Here I am, Blade. Wesley Snipes.
Not know who you are.
Blade 2.
The trailer does not do that movie justice.
Back then, the trailers didn't do them justice too much. One man lives in the shadows. It was always like so random the way they would say it as well.
Have you ever heard the Pablo Francisco comedy skit?
Yeah, so he's like
Little Tortilla
like
Boy?
Movie. Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend that gosh, I think I was in middle school when he heard that, and he was like, "Have you ever heard of the Little Tortilla Boy?" And I was like, "Wait, what's that?" And it's the friend's name was Francisco, so he's the one telling us, "There's this comedian named Pablo Francisco, and he does this," and then we all watched it and we were obsessed with it. That's yeah. The movie voice though, it's so it was such a big thing back then. Yeah. For every film, it's we're gonna have this guy narrate what's going on, just so we make sure you know what's going on. Yeah. So that is Blade 2. We're Blade 2. For those of y'all who have been around since the beginning of this podcast, we've covered Blade 1. So now we're on Blade 2. We hope that you're following along with us. We hope that you're enjoying these films as much as we are, being able to go back and watch them, especially years later. Because I was a young little spud when these movies were released, and I would watch them but didn't understand them. I was like, that just looks cool. And now I'm older. I'm like, oh my gosh, Wesley Snipes is the man. He never deserved to be arrested. I don't like paying taxes either. So I agree with you. Taxes suck. Yeah. So the synopsis for this film is: Blade forms an uneasy alliance with the Vampire Council in order to combat the Reapers who are feeding on vampires. So that is a little synopsis. I think that's right to the point because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
That is the synopsis for Blade 2 for those of you who are following along. There is a cast for this film that I thought was really fun. I thought the cast was some of the people that we saw in this film were really cool to see, and I was just I didn't notice this as a kid, and now that I'm older. So I mean, you get Wesley Snipes returning as Blade, but we get Chris Christopherson returning as Whistler, which is fun.
Even though he died.
Yes. Well, yeah. I know, but he's back. We find out. In this one, they were we got to find a way to write him back in. We got y'all. We don't show his death on screen. Smart idea. Just like they didn't show the death of Kingpin at the end of Hawkeye. It's because it's coming back. So that was a smart idea. We get Ron Perlman in this film, right? And I was like, ooh, Ron Perlman. But the thing that excited me the most, the person that excited me the most that film was my man, Norman Reedus. Daryl Dixon is in this film. That was a character named Scud. Well, yeah. Josh, but his friends call him Scud.
Very 2000s nickname.
Yes, I was like, ooh, and then he watches Powerpuff Girls all day. I'm like, all right, Scud. That's a good cartoon. You have a taste, sir. You have taste in good cartoons. So that was the synopsis, and that was the cast of this lovely film called Blade, which is all about.
You also have Matt Schultz as Shupa. He was in I think he was in the first one, and he also was in Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Yes, he's in the first film, the first Fast and Furious film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vincent.
Yes.
And he was in Part 5 as well.
And then.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
Donnie Yen is in Rogue One.
Yes, He's Johnny Yen. He's Ip Man, and he's in Rogue One. And then the eyeliner kind of works for the man in this film. I was like, I kind of dig it. Not gonna lie. Makeup don't look bad on you, Donnie Yen. You look like a badass. But yeah, I saw Donnie Yen and I was like, no way, Donnie Yen's in this? That's crazy.
Yeah, did a double take for sure.
Yeah, because I didn't want to, like, sometimes I think it's one actor and then it's not, or I'll think it's a certain actor and then it's not that actor. Like, I get Ray Park and I think is it Trace Adkins? They're both, like, stunt men who also do movies. But every time I see them in films, I'm like, wait, which one is this? Is it Ray Park or is it, what's it called? But I just got to think of Darth Maul and Toad. I'm like, that's Ray Park. Trace Adkins was the one that got his butt whooped in, I think by Jason Statham in The Expendables. But yeah, so we got the synopsis of the cast, and what was, I'm blanking on the thing, because
we give a rating and then favorite scenes.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to give your rating first?
Sure. Rate out of 6 Infinity Stones.
Oh, yes, we do.
I can't remember what I gave Blade 1.
I can't either, man.
But I feel like this one has more rewatchability than Blade 1. I'm going to go off the top of my head, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 6 Infinity Stones.
I'm going to agree with you. I give it 4 Infinity Stones. I really enjoyed this movie, man. I sat there and I was just like, this is enjoyable. I can see myself watching Blade 2 again. Like, I can see it watching it again. I hope they release a 4K version soon. Right now they only have the Blu-ray, but I'm hoping that we get like a 4K, just like about the first one on 4K. I hope we get a 4K re-release of Blade 2, because this is got to add this bad boy to the collection.
I didn't know we did 6 Infinity Stones. I was going to go kind of with a 7, so I think 4 falls in line with it. So
yeah.
I think the fight scenes were done very well. The CGI did not feel cheesy for its time. There are a few nitpicks with the characters, but as far as Wesley Snipes and Blade and the story, I think the movie does it justice. So,
man.
The funny thing about this is that I have Blade 1 through 3 on DVD. Whenever they came out, I got them because I watched this shit as a kid, and so I wasn't worried about finding a place to watch it. And I went up to yesterday, like I needed to watch it, and yesterday I sat down to watch it, put on the disc, it didn't work. So I was like, oh crap, podcast tomorrow, I might need to go find DVD. I was like, let me see where it's streaming at. I was looking everywhere, and finally HBO Max had it.
HBO Max, yeah, HBO Max came in clutch.
That's funny because the first Blade, I remember watching it on Netflix, and then like a week later it got taken down.
It did. All 3. It did.
And it got taken down a week later, so it's like, okay, then obviously Netflix ain't gonna have it. So I was like looking for, I think I looked at Hulu, Paramount, and other places, and then I finally went to HBO Max, the last one, and it had it. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, man. So glad that HBO Max had it. Go ahead. No, go ahead. We're doing the Netflix theme.
Next one's the favorite scenes. If you want to get into it, a spoiler. If you haven't seen this movie that came out in 2000, then y'all go watch it on HBO Max.
Yeah, it's on there right now. Go and watch it. Get away from the podcast. You can come listen to us talk about it when you're finished watching the movie. And you can get mad at us when we're no longer on the screen to see you live comment. So if you don't like our opinions.
Before we get into favorite scenes, the first 20 minutes, you bring back what was his name? Whistler?
Yes.
What'd y'all think about that? How'd y'all feel about that?
To be honest with you, it's like I know that we get him like dead in the first one, but I feel like by the time we get him in this second one, it kind of like, I don't know if I felt like, man, I'm sad, or if I felt like, you know what, I'm kind of happy that Whistler's back because that was like his big father figure. But I feel like it was such a driving force in the first film that like to do that, it feels like a cop-out. But also I feel like he could have been a fan favorite in the first film. And the directors were like, damn, we killed him too soon. We should have written this to where his character lasted instead of killing him. So I think they could have been done purposely. Like they said, let's test Whistler. Let's have him be the driving force, but we won't show the death. When he kills himself, you'll hear the gunshot go off, but we won't show what happened to him. You get what I'm saying? So then it's like when they built this second story arc, we have him like, my best friend. I should have killed him when I had the chance. Now I'm on the hunt for him. And it's like, then he finds him super fast. I thought, I was like, oh, most of the movie's gonna take place with him like looking. And he finds him within the first 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, come home with me. And then locks him up. But I mean, I guess it was fun to see Whistler again. So I can't say that like having him in this film didn't like do stuff for it. But how did like, what were your thoughts? Did you not like? Was it kind
when
of
I was younger? I remember seeing him. I want to say in all three because I remember seeing a lot of him. And I was gonna bring that up in the first movie. I was like, oh, they killed him. Okay, so I guess he's only in the first one. But whenever it happened, I'm like, okay, so I was correct. I remember seeing
you weren't tripping. Your mind wasn't messing with you. Yeah.
At first, I was like kind of pissed, but then I was like, after the movie progressed, I'm like, you know what? Like, at least this wasn't like the main thing. Like, we gotta find Whistler. Like, they just do it in the first 20 minutes. That's it. The next story
the whole
arc
film.
is this.
Yeah. Whistler the film.
Yeah. So. It was alright. I mean, I want to see what they're gonna do with whenever we review Blade Trinity. I want to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, same here. Because in Blade Trinity we get Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And Triple H.
And Triple H, yeah, wow, yes, you do. You get a lot of people for that. But I also hear like to this day that it's like the least liked Blade film. Again, I'm going into it fresh because I haven't seen it since I was a youngin, so
yeah,
I get to form this opinion on my own. But yeah. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought Whistler coming back was okay.
Did you watch the first Blade, Craig, before watching this
movie? I haven't seen it in a while, so I kind of went into Blade 2 kind of just off of what I knew from Blade 1. Yeah. So I knew that the old dude was dead, and then kind of like going into this, I was like, oh, okay, gets him back. Kind of like you guys. Like, thank God it wasn't like a main plot of the story. I feel like if Marvel had a hold of this movie today, they would use that first hour to get Whistler, and then they'd be like, oh, here's the plot. We're done.
We got to make this 2.5 hours. So the first hour, we're making it him finding Whistler.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm glad it was short and sweet. I didn't care for him on screen, though. I didn't.
I think he was better in part 1 because he was one of the main characters. In this one, he felt like more of just a side character.
He is really just like I guess he speaks here and there. He's not like I want to say I liked Norman Reedus' character Scud more than I did him Whistler. Like I'll get into like just the funniest thing, the reactions to some of the stuff that happened in this movie that I was like, oh my gosh, I really am invested. So, but yeah, I wonder if the MCU is gonna add a Whistler for their Blade film, or we're not gonna. We might not even get a Whistler.
That's another thing. I'm kind of curious where they kick it off because they've already. Kevin Feige came out and said we don't need a Fantastic Four Origins, so he wants to kind of kick it off and give us something new and fresh with them. So
just like they did with Spider-Man,
curious to see where they kick off Blade at.
Yep. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm excited to see what they decide to do with that. How they decided to do Blade. I know he was introducing the Eternals, but still.
They can make Wesley Snipes to be the Whistler.
Whistler, right? We'll have Wesley Snipes be Whistler? Yeah.
But, I'd be down with it.
Yeah. The first movie, when we reviewed it, one of our gripes, Manny, was the origin story, the 5-second origin story.
Oh, dude.
This 20-minute of looking for Whistler, I felt would have been better for an origin story had they did that for the first one.
But the thing is, he mentions the origin story again in this movie when it starts off.
Yeah.
He tells the story a little bit. So I was like, even if, Craig, you said, like, I didn't go back and watch part 1, but even if you didn't, you get it again for the sequel. But, like, just to remind you, this is Blade. Remember how he was made again? Yeah, just reminding you with small little flashbacks, just in case you forgot.
My mother was human. I'm half vampire. I have all the strengths, none of the weaknesses. It's like, all right, I got it. Let's roll.
Yeah, all right. Thank you for letting me know what you can do.
Yeah.
All right, just naming all this stuff. Like, if the X-Men came out and he was like Cyclops, and then I, my brother shoots lasers from his chest, and I do it from my eyes. And just like gives like a little like, okay, cool. Thank you for telling me what you do. You could have just showed me. Like they just all come out and say what they do before they. But yeah, man, that's funny. You wanna get into like our favorite scenes of the film?
Yeah. Do y'all want to break down anything else? Any scene that y'all thought?
Yeah, well, one thing I wanted to break down was I thought it was funny because there's a scene where somebody gets stabbed and then they break off the blade inside of his body and it's like sticking out like below his heart and you see it like sticking out. And I remember I looked at it and I was like, dude, that reminds me of Hellboy Golden Army. And I was like, wait, Ron Perlman's in this film. And then when the movie ended, it said directed by Guillermo del Toro. And I was like, what do you know?
Oh, my God,
you
yeah.
son of a gun. You son of a gun. You reused storyline for Hellboy the Golden Army. So I was like, oh, man. And I know this because I have the toy of Hellboy where he has that, what's it called, that piece of the sword sticking out of his, in the same area, too. So I was like, that's so funny. When the credits rolled and it said directed by Guillermo del Toro, I was like, okay, so this movie didn't copy. It's the same director. That was one thing that I wanted to point out.
He's like, man, this worked in Blade 2. Let's just throw it in here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it worked in a sequel that I did before, so let me throw it in this sequel. Yeah, that's it's funny.
Go back and watch all of his other sequels, and it's like the same thing.
There's something from and everything. Like, just like, I just do that. I just pay homage to my older films and the sequels to other films.
Hey, that would be funny, though, to like have like a running joke throughout every single one of your films.
And like we go and watch every Guillermo del Toro film that's a sequel specifically, and it has that scene where somebody like the sword gets broken. He's like, "You found it after all these years. You're the only podcast that found it." I want to make a FanBoy podcast movie.
Now I'm going to be paying attention to details like that. And I'll be like, I've seen this before somewhere.
Yeah, that really hit me. And then at the end, I was like, man, I wonder if Guillermo del Toro grabbed inspiration from whoever directed this. And then at the end, it's like, directed by Guillermo del Toro. And I'm like, okay, well, you got it from yourself. You didn't. It's not copy and pasting. You're just reusing what you've already made. So I can't blame you. But yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to point out. That just made me like kind of smile and laugh at the same time. Slick.
One thing, I don't know if it's a good or bad scene, but when Whisker flips the sunglasses to Blade, you kind of see him. He catches the sunglasses, and then Whisker's hand goes like back and forth. Like they were like, "Hey, act like you're throwing the sunglasses," but he's already caught it because they're trying to. I think they did it backwards. I don't know, but it's like
the way it was directed to caught it.
Like,
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, okay, that's."
He's like, I have Parkinson's, man.
Yeah.
The main actor
shaking.
Yeah.
We get into favorite scenes. One of my favorite scene was I'm a wrestling fan. I'm excited for Triple H in the next Triple H Trinity. But they did a lot of wrestling moves in this movie.
They did.
Blade did a suplex for no fucking reason at all. He did a suplex and then got up. I'm like, why'd you do that?
He got up fast. He got up super fast too. It's like suplex, and then he's standing up the next frame.
Yeah, like he just like that.
Yeah.
And then whenever the ending scene when he's fighting what's his name, Nomad, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Nomad like runs, jumps from like the other side of the room, jumps to Blade and like elbow drops him. Like, dude, why'd y'all have so many wrestling moves in this movie? Did y'all know Triple H was gonna sign on for Blade Trinity? Is that why?
That's actually how they got him to sign on.
It's like, hey man, our film, we incorporate a lot of wrestling moves. We think you'd be really good.
You're a wrestler, so I think that you would get it down. You know what I mean?
I always look for movies like that. Like obviously, The Rock does a lot of wrestling moves. I remember in Fast 6 or 7, he rock bottoms Jason Statham. I was like, I popped in theater whenever that happened.
You know, it's crazy because like I grew up like loving. To me, I was more of like an Ultimate Fighter fan, and I loved the UFC. So, but I knew of wrestling because I had a bunch of friends that loved wrestling. So when I would go over with them, I'd watch it, you know what I mean, and enjoy it and stuff like that. But I think like in the Expendables when Randy Couture fights Stone Cold Steve Austin, I remember I died to that scene. I was like, I can go to heaven right now. My life can end. That's all I needed to see. I just needed to see a wrestler take on a UFC fighter, and I am A-okay. Like that is a dream come true. It's what you only dream happens in your head. These two different combat sports, and to see like, you know, Stone Cold and Randy Couture in the same scene fighting each other, I was just like, what the you know, I talked about that for weeks at school afterwards, and it was like, we get it, and I'm like, no, but you don't understand. Yeah. So yeah, they did do a lot of wrestling in this film, but man, it's just something about this film with the hand-to-hand combat that I love, man. I feel like sometimes films nowadays, they sometimes lack that, and I don't like. The reason I love Doctor Strange, the first one, is because it was hand-to-hand combat. Even in the sequel when he fights Mordo, it's hand-to-hand combat, and I feel like sometimes we don't get to see too much of that. Like we see like really superpowered people go at really superpowered villains, but it's like one punch throws them off or one kick. You know, it's them flying back and forth. To see them actually enclosed and like we see Blade in this film, it's just so freaking cool, man. Like I just think that like earlier when Craig said the CGI wasn't that bad for the time, and also I also think there's a proper time to use CGI. There's a proper time to use it, and back then CGI must have cost a lot of money, so you had to use it when it was proper. Like, you know what, to make this scene happen, and you see that in this film. The only time CGI is used is when it's necessary. Like, you can't have Snipes jump out of a window and do a flip, so you're going to have to CGI it, but it's okay when you do it because at the time, you probably thought, whoa, that was crazy. You didn't notice it. Excuse me. You didn't notice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I thought that was so, like, it's so cool being able to watch this film and see the proper use of CGI versus what we get now, the overuse of CGI. You get what I'm saying? When it's not necessary, when it isn't needed. You know what I mean? You got movies now that's like we watch a whole film and it's like, yeah, did you know his cape wasn't real? And I'm like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Did you know that like in some of the Thor films that the sleeves aren't there? It's CGI for the sleeves, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So I think it's real cool to see like these older films, even this one, where I feel like CGI is used properly, and it's you may notice it, but it's like at the time it fits, at the time it worked, at the time it was necessary. So I definitely hats off to the CGI department in this film for utilizing CGI when it was necessary to utilize CGI.
Was this a Fox property as well?
I think it is the Fox property, right? Or is it how does it start? It's not,
because I was gonna say the CGI in this felt very X-Men. Where it was subtle, but it fit, and it wasn't overdone. It was just in moments that they needed it, and that's why I said this film felt so good with the CGI, because compared to Spawn, which was 3-4 years earlier, Spawn tried to do it way too much. And in moments where they didn't need to do it, they tried to make Spawn feel way bigger than he was. And in this New Line,
yes, New Line, yeah. You're saying that
it's along the realm of what Fox was doing though around that time.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like even like to further expand, like when they're examining that one vampire hybrid on the table, that was like so freaking cool. Like everything on that table was prosthetic. Yeah. It didn't look CGI. It was all prosthetic, and I thought that was so freaking cool because I have a thing like when like 80s films, one of the reasons I love them is because at the time like prosthetics were a big deal because it's like this is all we have to work with. You get what I'm saying? Like CGI was just up and starting. You can only do so much with it, but then you had prosthetics, and I think it's so cool when you see that in later films that have decided to stick with prosthetics, and that's what this film did. And I thought that was really freaking cool, man. I enjoyed that so much.
100%.
I love it. Reckon you went silent. You okay there, brother?
Yeah, I was on Wikipedia for Blade 2. But
yeah, just the hand-to-hand fight scenes I think were, for a movie when you guys said we were going to do Blade 2, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and watch Blade 2. I was like, it's going to be kind of cheesy. Blade Trinity, from what I remember, kind of gets trashed on. So I was like, Blade 2 is just kind of fall under that. And I was thoroughly surprised with how well the hand-to-hand combat was, the angles that they used for the fights. It wasn't, sometimes when you get into those fights, they move the camera real fast so you don't catch all the action. And this one was kind of like, we're going to give you this angle, we're going to go to this angle, we're going to let you see the whole fight. And I think, the angles and the cinematography and the production was done very well.
Facts. Agreed. Could not agree more. But you said what happened on Wikipedia?
Oh, I was just reading to find out the Fox stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then you said it was New Line Cinema that made this one?
Yeah, New Line Cinema.
Yeah.
The budget was $54 million. It made at the box office $155 million.
Wow, dude! So it made like 100 times like 100 million more.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, for an R-rated film back in the day, for a comic book character, I mean, 100 million back then, that's a good box office.
Yeah. It's just I mean, there's like to me, like with this film there was like so much to like, and that's why, like I said, it has replay value, because it's just for the time it was made, it's just enjoyable. There's, to me, like even sticking on favorite scenes, like when he bombs all of them, and he's like, how many times do I have to remind you? Do you know who the fuck you're messing with? Like, it's just like, I love one-liners sometimes, man. It's like, it's just so good. You know what I mean? And then what I love too is, like, after a lot of them bombed, it shows them like kick one, and you hear like the crunching and it like falling apart. And I was like, it's just, I don't know, for some reason, like, it's necessary to me. It's fun. I love it. I love it.
And when he kicks them, you see, it's just like, after you have a fire where you cook the wood, the flames kind of kick out, and there's
embers and stuff. Embers.
Like, it did that with the bodies. It was well thought out. It's not like, oh, they just burned, they're already ash.
And you can see them too. Like, you can see them in certain poses too afterwards, where they just became ash in, the explosion. And I just like, wow. And I think a big reason, well, now that I'm thinking about it, this is Guillermo del Toro. And now that I'm thinking about like the whole scene where they're examining the teeth and all of that, like, it seems very Guillermo del Toro. Even though a lot of times it's easy to pass it off as Predator. Every time I see the mouths open, I always think of Predator. I'm like, that's Predator, that's Predator. But even for this film, I thought it was still really freaking cool. And I just like, oh man, to be honest with you, like, one of my favorite scenes is, like I was saying, like, I was so invested, was when I found out that Scud was a bad guy. My mouth dropped. I was like, what? No! I was like, I'm way too invested. And he's like, 2 things you gotta know. I've been watching you since the day we met. And 2, it's not a dud. And then boom, he exploded. I was like, yes! Fuck you, Scud. I was so mad. I was like, screw you.
Wesley Snipes is that dude, man. He's that dude.
Man. I was like,
actually, is like my least favorite scene. Like,
I like
the whole dud and everything, but like, I like the whole him revealing himself as a bad guy, but the dud, because like he clicks it, it doesn't go off. It's a dud. Clicks it again. It's like, it's not a dud. Like, you already clicked it. What do you mean it's not a dud?
Well, it could have been like it could have been like an arm and then blow up. A lot of
what if there were 2 buttons?
Yeah,
this is Wesley Snipes you're talking about here, Franco.
He's using a garage door opener. He got 3 buttons.
Yeah. He's using a key fob, man.
Yeah.
He got one to unlock the doors, one to lock the doors, one to open the trunk, one to honk the horn. Come on, man.
One to blow up Scud.
One to blow up Scud, yeah. Fucking Scud. He was eating Krispy Kreme donuts. I was like, I remember when we had one of those here in Corpus. Not anymore.
I was expecting a little more from Scud in this movie, kind of seeing him and The Walking Dead and so on and so forth with the new stuff that he's doing, which he's killing it now. But in this movie, I just did not like the, man, I'm Scud. I'm out there. I didn't like it.
Oh yeah, because I guess this is like, because we see him now so much as like Daryl, where he's always like, I don't care, that's not my problem. You know what I mean? Or like, and then we see like this very hardened like Norman Reedus, but in this one he's like, come on, man, you really trust Whistler? I don't trust him. And like, he just seemed like, my name's Scud. My name's Josh, but my friends call me Scud. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he's a cool guy. He's cool. You know what I mean? 30 minutes till sunrise. That was the funny thing. He told him at one point, come on, 30 minutes till sunrise. Let's wrap it up. And then, like, I don't know if it was in the same day that they find the lair. It's like, this one tried to escape. He's going into the lair. And I was like, it was still, like, not sunrise yet. Because doesn't sunrise happen at the end of the film? Or is this all in the same night where they find the lair, they go down into the lair and everything? Was it 2 separate?
I think it's 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I guess it's just because he has to deal with the vampires at night that it threw me off. Because I'm like, wait, man, he said 30 minutes to sunrise. How the hell are y'all still that's the longest 30 minutes ever?
They go to the club, and then he gets Whistler, and he's like, the sun's going to come up, and you're either going to be dead or alive.
Yeah.
That day happens, and I think that's when he's like, they beat the vampires at night, and then they're like, the sun's coming up. And that's when they're going to go fight the bad guys.
Yeah, Nomad and his crew. Right?
Yeah.
Nomad, yeah.
So I think it's like 3 nights, 2 days, something like that.
Yeah, okay. It's not 30 days a night?
I don't know.
I was thinking of 30 days a night whenever the girl chars up at the end. I was thinking of like Josh Hartnett at the end of that when he's in front of the sun. He's like, and it just starts to burn into a crisp. And I was like, yep, vampires in the sun, man, they don't mix well. Somebody give that girl some sunscreen. That's why there couldn't be vampires in Texas. There couldn't be. There couldn't be, man. Because even when it's like nighttime, it still feels like the sun's out.
Yeah.
It's like there couldn't be, like, I'm sorry. At least we know we're clear of that.
But so I was confused when Ron Perlman put his hand out in the sun, but he was still wearing like clothing and gloves.
Yeah, and it was burning it. Yeah.
I was like, does it go through, or like you would think they'd like, let's wear protective clothing just in case.
Yeah,
but no, he's just like, let me buy these dollar gloves from Dollar General and throw them on.
But the question to me that like really like was crazy is like, I feel like when they found out that like, one thing that I kept questioning is like when they found out that the UV lights work so well, like, yeah, they made the bombs, but like, what took them so long to like just continue using the UV lights? Right, like that was the thing. I was like, come on, man. I get that like you're scared if it touches you, but you're using this on the villain, and it seems to be working faster than the bullets and the knives and everything else.
And they still shot him with bullets.
Even and they even said, even he kept saying like, save your ammo. It doesn't work on them. They're like, nah, it's okay. I like to just shoot things, so I'm going to continue shooting. I think the one of the cool scenes too was when Assad and Nisa first meet Blade. I thought that was cool. Like the suits were pretty cool. The suits kind of reminded me of the Court of Owls from Batman, but yes. I still thought that was really freaking cool. And it does have that Guillermo del Toro twist on them, because I saw like similar suits in Hellboy. You know what I mean? So like I thought those suits were freaking badass.
And the eyes were prosthetics; they're not CGI.
Yeah. It's so, just like, wow.
It adds another layer when they're actually real and they're just messing with them offset to open them and close them.
Facts. I agree. That's just Guillermo is the man. Thank you for using prosthetics, Guillermo. It means, or should I say Guillermo? I don't know. However you want to pronounce, I will pronounce it. All right, because I'm very thankful for this film. Yeah, so that was like
the least favorite scenes or plot holes, or if y'all would have ended it, done it, anything better.
Did I not like the scene?
Yeah, I didn't have much gripes with it.
I don't think I hated it.
I feel like the movie was fairly well written, where there wasn't any plot holes. Like it's like they kind of took their time and made sure that it wasn't like, oh well, this guy was actually. They already knew he was bad, but he's still with them. I thought it was done very well. That there wasn't plot holes.
I would say Whistler like coming back to life or never not dying, but I mean that's not like a major gripe or anything. It's just he fucked us, he tricked us.
There is one, so when Blade drops the grenade in the sewers and all the things pop up and he slices them all, it's because they were going to get hit by the light in the water. But yet whenever he drops the big bomb and it goes through the tunnels, Nisa and Ron Perlman are able to disappear, and yet they only get a burn on their face. Wouldn't the light still hit them in the water and make them burst into flames and ashes?
That's true.
With that much power, wouldn't it technically get them regardless of if they were in the water or not?
Man, yeah, it would have. But we have to keep our series favorites. Yeah. Even though I wanted Ron Perlman to die as soon as we met him. Not that I hate Ron Perlman, I just hated that he was such an ass. Like, I guess we all have one question. Does he blush? But then he used that against him whenever at the end. He's like, my father taught me two things. And he says one thing, and then right before he says the other. And the second thing, does he blush? And then he killed him. I'm like, yes, screw you,
that was a good
Ron Perlman. Yeah,
good satisfying payoff.
Yeah, it was one of those like, I wanted it to happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
And so another thing that I really enjoyed too was the fact that the reason I don't have gripes is because I was so glad that we saw Blade fight Nomad and nothing ever interfered. I thought at some point the girl was gonna save him, or at some point, and I see that done in a lot of movies sometimes, but sometimes it takes away from like the hero getting the one up because I'm like, he had to have help. That's not fair. You know, like you tag teamed. We're not tag teaming here. So I'm so glad that we saw the whole fight with Nomad and Blade up until the end. I just thought even that scene was so cool, like them fighting and stuff like that. They were kicking each other's ass. I was just there like, damn man, y'all need to take a break, drink some Gatorade. We just calm down for a bit.
Definitely a good scene.
Yeah, really cool, man. I like Nomad. Man, I'd love to see like figures of the Blade films made. Like I wish that was like a thing. I'd love to see it happen, because some of these I was just like, man, like I need like a statue or something. Like maybe a statue of Nomad and Blade fighting. That'd be so freaking cool. But yeah, man, I had no gripes, and I don't think I would have ended the film any differently.
Do a movie moment pop.
Yeah, that really would. That would be freaking awesome. Maybe someday they'll get the rights to New Line Cinema stuff, and we'll get a Blade Funko Pop. But until then, we have to patiently wait and sit with what we have out there right now. So don't cry. Don't cry.
Next up is taglines. The tagline for this movie was, "The last time he fought against his sworn enemies, this time he'll fight with them." It's a solid tagline for the movie.
That is true.
Yeah. Do you have any? There's a whole bunch of taglines actually, but I only wrote that one down. But,
I would say. Go ahead.
I was say if you have any taglines.
My thing was just like, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, because it was like a reoccurring theme inside this movie. Like they said it multiple times.
Yeah. I don't have one.
Just, Back from the Dead.
No tag. Okay, well, yeah. I'm not leaving. I just got to answer something really fast. So.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't 100% sure what taglines were, and then so I'll just kind of agree with yours with just he was fighting his enemies before, and now he's fighting with them, even though technically, yeah, I mean he fought with them, but he still ended up killing them all.
Yeah, those are a few more taglines that they had that they put on posters and all that, but I think that was like the main one on the DVD cover.
That's the one you got to go with then. You just got to keep that tagline because it's DVD cover worthy. What kind of DVD do you have? Is it one like the cardboard with the little clip at the end that you click and then you open up, or is it?
No, that was the first one. This one was just the regular DVD. It's a 2-disc one.
Nice, beautiful. I feel like I'm that way. Like, I have like freaking. You ever buy like movies in abundance? Like you have them DVD, then you're like, I gotta get them Blu-ray, and then you gotta get them 4K, and you're just kind of there. Like for me, it's been like that for like I already had the Terminator 2, and then I wanted it in 4K, so I have the Terminator in 4K, and then they released the Steelbook 4K, and I was like, I already have it in 4K, but I need the Steelbook now just because it looks cool. So
I just wait for Johnny. I wait for Johnny to get that itch, and then I take his leftovers.
I've always been DVD. I never switched over to Blu-ray. I have like a few Blu-ray, and then like they made Steelbooks. I never switched over to that. They made 4K. I've never switched over to that.
Yeah.
I have like a few favorites. Like Scott Pilgrim. I have the Steelbook for that one for the DVD Blu-ray.
Oh, dude.
And then
that is sick.
The first Saw movie, they released a 4K Steelbook cover. I got that, but I don't have like. I think Fast and Furious, the first Fast and Furious, I have that Steelbook as well.
Nice. I need a.
Oh, that looks nice.
What is that?
I don't even think this was a U.S. release. I'm not sure, but
yeah, that's crazy. There's a site called Zavi that usually has like the international releases, but those could be like super costly whenever you go up there to.
I got this on eBay for $6.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
That's a freaking steal. I wanted Shrek, the 4K Steelbook, and it's like I can't find it really anywhere. And then the one that I did find that was like unopened, the Steelbook was bent. And I was like, oh, part of me wants to
total.
Be like, yeah. I was like,
turn off
maybe
for me. I'm like, I can't do it.
Even if the slipcover's off of it, bro, I won't buy it. I'm sorry, but slipcovers are part of the movie. I think I saw somebody on TikTok take the slipcover and like crush it up, and it felt like when I see people crush up their Funko Pop boxes. That's the way it felt to me, and I was like, why are you doing this? Is torture. And I had to keep scrolling. I was like, you almost got to follow, but you're doing that to your slipcovers, and I can't rock with that. They're very important. But yeah, so we had no gripes, right? I think that's fair to say. There were no gripes about this film. I think it was well written, and fun. I definitely want to see this again.
I thought the dialogue would be a bit more cheesy with it being 2002, but I felt like it was fairly mellow for the time that it was released.
Yeah, that is true. I really enjoyed this film, man. That's why I'm hoping like with part 3, the continuation. One thing I always look for with like trilogies and stuff like that is how they progress with each film. Now, of course, Spider-Man 1 and 2, then the progression for part 3 was a bit tragic. But I can't blame Sam Raimi all the way. I can't blame like Sam Raimi on that as a whole. But so it's like I'm excited to see because like I've enjoyed the first 2 so far. I'm hoping that part 3 is up to par with what we've seen these first 2 films.
I think our last episode of the season is reviewing part 3, right?
Oh wow! I think so. Wow, yes, because you said we start with Blade, we're closing with Blade.
Yeah, we have a long way to go.
Dang.
But we gave, I think, 4 Infinity Stones all across.
Yeah, we all gave 4 Infinity Stones.
No major grabs or anything. So you want to get into the fight list, Manny?
Guys, this is the one day we're gonna have the Daddy chill.
Yeah,
I need to figure out how to edit that because I wanted to say Manny. I tried to do it on TikTok and voiceover, but the presence of that voice is so loud that I can't. Manny chill, because the Daddy chills way. What the hell is even that?
The fight list, Craig. I don't know if you've seen an episode, but the fight list. Manny goes on IMDb, reads the comment sections of someone who does not agree with his opinion.
Yeah.
And he wants to fight him, basically.
Okay.
So
yeah, and so for
pretty much.
So for a while, it's crazy because like I came across this one time where I was like, wait, like, I didn't like the movie, so then I had to find somebody who did like the movie to fight with. I was like, I gotta fight with that person because you shouldn't have liked this film. And I think in the last one we had somebody that was talking like hardcore. Like, I think it was the first Blade movie, wasn't it? Where somebody was like this, or was it X-Men?
It was
I think it was X-Men.
Yeah,
somebody was just like this
like
person had the audacity to talk about the CGI being bad, and I'm like, bro, do you know what era that was, man? Like, you definitely weren't born before the 2000s. That's all I said. I was like, there's no way you were born before the 2000s because I feel like
if you don't like the CGI with this one, just go watch the new ones, and then you can enjoy that storyline.
Yeah, go watch your new CGI. Go watch your years of advancement film over what they had at the beginning. That's like judging an 80s use of CGI. It's like, bro, you were talking about the 80s here? Like, cut them some slack. So we're going to see all user reviews, and I'm going to edit it now that this is so cool. Refine it, and then sort by review rating. Refine. Okay, and I'm going to hit the ones. So I'm going to the ones. One of the ones, we're going to see. It does have a really high 7 count, man. So a lot of people gave it a 7. Its overall total was 6.7 out of 10, which is, to me, is fair.
It's fair.
That's really good.
And you did it by the date, right?
Yeah, I did. Well, no, date too. How do I refine it to date?
You
So I hit
refine, and then sort by review date.
Review date, refine.
The first one from 2018.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to fight with Mr. Frog here, because just says painful. Oh no, this is warning spoilers. Oh no, okay, cool.
Oh no, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yes, they took the time. So I think I'm gonna fight this person because you took the time to. I was about to dog on you, Mr. Frog.
Wait until the bottom of his review. Like it's pretty much
Okay, so it says warning spoilers. So Mr. Frog was nice enough to warn y'all before reading his review. Blade is back in this much gorier and CGI-er sequel. It's more of the same garbage, but with a pinch of dog excrement added. CGI-er is not a word. Let's get that straight first, okay, Mr. Frog? That was stupid. You could have said more CGI, but obviously he didn't learn to spell in school and didn't learn to use proper grammar. So I'm gonna ease up on that. CGI, you thought you were going somewhere with that. I bet this man goes to parties and creates words and thinks that they're gonna catch on. He's CGI, like, what was it? Gretchen Winters? Like, nobody says fetch, Gretchen. It's not gonna catch on, right? Like, that's what this guy does. This guy does that. If the pansy vampires from the first weren't bad enough, we now have reapers, mutants who feed on bloodsuckers. And since this is H.P. Lovecraft, my bad, Guillermo del Toro, it's made to be as disgusting as possible. At least he didn't include his fish fetish, which the reaper's jaws breaking open, revealing a leech-looking tongue. Okay, first of all, this is a Guillermo del Toro film, and you seem like you're upset because it's gorier and you don't like gorier. And then you said that the vampires from part 1 were pansy. So I think you're a Twilight fan. You'd rather have Edward Cullen without a shirt and sparkles. I'm not dogging on Twilight fans, but when you're talking shit about pretty proper vampires, which to me, the vampires I love the most are the Lost Boys, but when we're talking about these vampires, which in the first 2 films seem pretty badass, even in this film, this man's upset, and I think he's upset, or woman. I think Mr. Frog is upset because he wants that tongue down his throat, and he can't get it. He was like, they were like watching this movie, like, I'm somewhat attracted to that mouth, like, hey ma, what that mouth do? And then it got to them. So when they finished the film, they're like, why was I turned on by this? I'm pissed off now, and because I'm pissed off, I'm gonna talk trash about it.
And
so
that's why
Mr. Frog
included the fish fetish.
Because nobody's talking about The Shape of Water, but this man has the audacity to be like, you're mad at Guillermo del Toro, but then you watch The Shape of Water. You have to be a fan of Guillermo del Toro to sit through The Shape of Water, because if by then you already don't like his work, I mean, what did you sit? It's because you wanted to know if the fish had a penis. I get it. It's explained in the movie, though, which I'm pretty sure satisfied you, Mr. Frog, to find out. So it's okay. I don't think that, yes, okay, I mean, we do get, it was Abe, is the name of the aquatic person in the Hellboy films, which was super cool, and played by Doug Jones. So I don't think that's a fish fetish. I've never looked at it. Like, are you gonna call Pixar, like, are you gonna say Pixar has a fish fetish for, like, Finding Nemo and Finding Dory? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you're mad because there's fish and you're somewhat attracted to the mouth. Okay. The vampires seek out Blade to help them exterminate the Reapers. This time, Blade has a new marijuana-smoking sidekick, a resurrected whistler, and the Blood Pack. TM, he trademarked that. To help him kill the new monsters in the goriest ways possible. I feel like okay, first of all, he said gorier at one point, right? He said, as disgusting... It says gorier. Yeah, he's using gorier a lot. I don't like that. I don't like the word gorier. I don't like Mr. Frog. I hate you right now. The whole movie is like a nightmare, and not in a good classic horror movie way. It's hard to describe, but imagine if your Uncle Larry decided to travel to hell, and when he came back, he wanted to show you his vacation movie. Everyone is a foul-mouthed sadist in this movie. Everything looks and feels disgusting. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get through these paragraphs, and like, nobody made them sit through this film. Like, nobody... You know how, like... Okay, this is coming from a Christian's perspective, so I'm going to dog on Christians. You know how sometimes Christians will make a big deal out of something that's shown in a movie? And they're like, we want that movie out of theaters. But it's like, nobody's forcing you to sit through the film. Just skip it. Don't go watch it. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't go see it. Don't put it in your feed. Don't have anything to do with it. There's no need to gripe about a film that you yourself do not have to go see. You have the free will to go and pay for tickets. this is what I feel this person, Mr. Frog, is. Because they're getting mad at like this movie being disgusting, and they're mad that it's disturbing and it's foul-mouthed. Like, you're watching a rated R movie. What did you want? Like, rated G quality language? You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure this is the type of person that sits there and watches a rated G movie and it says the word crap and they turn it off. They're like, nope, not in my house. Did you just say shut up? That is a bad word. We don't use those words. End of story. We're so lucky we even get to see our heroes dissect one of the Reapers. Why? Because Del Toro wants to shove disgusting things in your face. If you watch the behind-the-scenes feature, it's revealed that they used sex toys and fake semen to make the Reapers innards. That should tell you something about the quality of the movie. There's also a strange scene at a vampire nightclub where a woman's back is cut open and the spine is exposed. What's the point? Here's the thing. With the whole sex toys and fake semen, the thing is, if it's being used to make like a prosthetic, which again, it's a prosthetic, you're doing the best you can. If it's being used for that, I don't think there was any ill intention to use sex toys. Guillermo probably said like these work, they look real, it fits where I'm going with this. So that's stupid. Oh my. The twist near the end, where Blade's new kid sidekick is revealed to be a traitor, is so stupid and illogical. I almost laugh when I think about it. Earlier in the movie, it's revealed that Blade saved the stoner from 2 vampire girls. Yet, another excuse to add vulgarity. He planned it all along. Yeah, right. How does that even work? Plan a rip an intestines out of my body, then Blade will show up and save me. He'll probably kill you too, and I'll quite possibly die myself. Plan B. Wait, there's no plan B. Who wrote this plan? David S. Goyer? The fight between Blade and the main Reaper, Nomak. I thought it was Nomad. I could have been saying it wrong. Is it Nomad or Nomak? Nomad, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Nomak is like watching someone else play Mortal Kombat on PlayStation 2. I don't expect realistic physics in a comic book movie, but at times Blade looks like he's a big-headed rubber puppet bouncing on a string. When the movie finally ends, at a peep show, where else, the words on the tragic villain Nomak echoes through my mind. It hurts more. There's no beauty in Blade 2. There's no goodness or truth. I'm not sure. It deserves to be called a movie. It's a waste of time, money, and film, like its predecessor. It's just meaningless garbage. Save your time and watch or read something better. Del Toro ripped off his own movie in Hellboy. I'm talking about the sewer battle. Lazy. Okay, Mr. Frog. This is to you. I hope you come across this podcast. I just want to say we're allowed to have opinions. I think it's important for people to have opinions, but we're also allowed to be very wrong. And in this case, you were very wrong. I don't know anybody quite like you that sits through a film that they know is going to be disgusting. If you consider this disgusting, I need to go see a therapist, because this is nowhere near the stuff I've seen growing up, like at all in any way, shape, or form. And nobody forced you, Mr. Frog, to sit through this film. If you didn't enjoy the first one, why sit through a sequel? That just doesn't make any sense. I go watch movies and I'm like, that was sucky. If I hear they're making a sequel, it's like, I'm not going to waste my time or money. But Mr. Frog did. And you know the sad thing is, Mr. Frog did this in 2018, which means you had the time to think about it. I mean, what, 2002 was when this movie was made? So you had, 16 years to sit on your decision to buy Blade 2? And 2018 was also the time of streaming, so if you... I just don't understand what you said, don't waste time and money on it. It's on streaming services, and I'm pretty sure at the time it was on streaming services. You make my fight list, because everything that you said was stupid. It seems like you were mad because this movie was too gory for you to watch. I mean, I don't... Franco and Craig, I don't know what to say right now. I don't even know if, I don't even know if I can fight Mr. Frog, because what if he starts bleeding and that's too much for him? What if I just make him bleed? What if I don't even fight Mr. Frog, I just cut myself? Just the sight of blood will make him faint, and I'm like, yo, good, in the fight. That's the easiest fight list. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show up with a fake butthole like a fake ass and plant it on his window, but in the ass it's gonna have the tongue that the Reapers had in their mouths, and I'm just gonna lick his window like all day and all night. Like he's not gonna be able to leave. I'm gonna put it everywhere. I'm gonna put it on the back of his car, so when he's reversing, he has to look at it while he's reversing. I'm gonna put it on a rear view mirror and his side view mirrors. That way, it's also always this tongue in the butt thing. So this is Mr. Reaper. You're on Mr. Reaper. I'm sorry, Mr. Frog is officially on the fight list, and that just sucks that you gave yourself the name Frog, because those are the name the Frog Brothers exist, and they don't deserve this disrespect at all whatsoever. I have some of a headache right now because that was like reading this person was really going for this person was really going for a novel, and I strained my eyes reading that whole damn thing. I'm glad I given you your second name, Mr. Frog, and you seem like a person that's like no fun to be around. So I hate you. I hope you die, and I hope you never set your eyes on anything that is not rated G, at all. And because of you, I'm gonna go back and find a way to make every director put something disturbing in every film, no matter what rating. Like the smallest thing too, because this just sounds like a Christian Karen mad that there was a certain scene in a movie for children. So that's what this entire review was. Mr. Frog, your name is Mr. Karen. That's your new name. You're officially part of the fight list. I am out of breath just talking about you because you suck. And your family sucks because they gave birth to you. Your dad should have pulled out.
He pissed you off so much that your audio started fucking up.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's exactly it. My earphones were like, yo, please, dude, don't give him the time of day. And I was like, I have to. People need to know that Mr. Frog exists and he's stupid as fuck.
Mr. Frog, you're on the fight list. Fuck you and your entire existence.
Everything.
We have 2 more segments. I was gonna say let's not do them because we already recovered Blade 1. But since Craig's here, we can just run through them. Fancast is us recasting Blade. We did come up with a couple people last time. Do you have any actors you would want portraying Blade in the new Blade movie, or would you be fine with what's your name? Ali?
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. Mahershala.
I think he looks just like, his kind of the hairstyle he had when he was on stage at San Diego Comic-Con, the stature, the face. I mean, I think he's gonna knock it out of the park whenever he puts on those shades and takes on the Blade persona. And I initially, when I saw it, I was just like, that's the perfect casting for him. I didn't have anybody else in my head who I was sitting there thinking this should have been somebody else. I think they made the right hire.
Agreed.
Yeah, we agree with that. I think honestly, I said Michael B. Jordan would be cool to see as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot the other person we said, but Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like the other person that I had said was the guy that came out in did I say, gosh, who was it? Oh, the guy that played the newest Candyman, right? Oh yeah, Michael J. White, Spawn. Yeah, I said that at first, and then I said the guy that played the newer Candyman. But he's already casted as Black Manta in the DC universe, so he couldn't.
So I don't know if you guys checked out our Spawn episode, but for me, Michael J. White was just very. I don't know if it was the way he was written or if that's just how he delivers his words, but he felt just very monotone. Like there was no. Like if he was sad, it was delivered the same way as if he was happy or mad. It was just very like get these words
the same tone for every line.
Yeah.
I think I've seen him like since Spawn. I've seen him in I think Never Back Down 2, which I saw a range of emotion, and then he came out on a few episodes of Arrow, so that's where I saw even more. So that's what kind of gave me the whole. And I think a lot of the thing that always gets me is the fact that he's already trained in martial arts. So it's like you're getting somebody that you really don't have to train. He's already built and stuff like that. I would just love to see him somewhere in, I guess, either the DC universe or the MCU at some point. Just even if it's not even a huge role. I like Michael J. White, but I agree with the notion of Spawn and how that was. You know what I mean? John Leguizamo still still a favorite from that. Like I love John Leguizamo in that film. But yeah, so you're saying your fan cast would be just to keep who we currently have right now is hitting out another park.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anybody else currently that hasn't been sort of a part of the MCU in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you got Jamie Foxx, who's been Electro, and Michael B. Jordan's been Killmonger. Wesley Snipes was already Blade. Donald Glover has been in Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming,
as,
the uncle of Miles Morales.
I didn't even think about Donald Glover.
You know, then you start going into like Chris Rock. It's not worth it. Kevin Hart's too small. Anthony Mackie's Captain America. Chris Tucker's out of it. Idris Elba has been
Bloodshot and Heimdall.
I mean, there's just not many that I would consider being Blade at this point. I think Mahershala Ali was the right. Yeah, unless you picked an up and come or like a not known. That was probably the best choice for them to go. Even though, again, like as soon as I saw the casting, I was like Cottonmouth. It's like Cottonmouth from Luke Cage. So, that's the thing. I was like, because I'd remembered him from previous Marvel work. I don't think Daniel Kaluuya, his facial features, I don't think they would fit it. And then there's one other guy that I can think of. I just don't think their facial features fit it, but I think his does.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I think I need to see his Comic-Con appearance because I didn't. Does he have the hair? His
hair's always kind of been like that, faded.
Yeah, sometimes I see him bald though, like it's very short. So it's like I was wanting to see like, I guess him with more hair, to kind of match the Wesley Snipes cut. But I agree with you on that. I think it's fair casting. I think it's great. I'm excited to see it, and I think he's gonna knock the roll out of the park. Depending on the writers, hopefully it's not, they don't screw him over.
It's hard to see, kind of, but I mean, you just throw some shades on him.
Yeah. No, I see it now. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, definitely.
You throw some shades on that bad boy, and he's Blade right off the bat.
Yep.
He's got that jawline that just fits.
It's important. It's like playing Batman. You have to have the chin.
I don't know. It's just the facial features really look like Wesley Snipes, and if there was really nothing wrong with Wesley Snipes as Blade, and I think they almost look identical, kind of. So
yeah, I agree.
And the other segments, MCU, MCNO. Would you enjoy it being canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I think there's a I'm trying to think of a good word. I find solace in knowing that this is kind of a standalone at its time. X-Men, Blade, Spawn, just it's their own thing. They are a part of Marvel. They are Marvel characters, but knowing that they aren't a part of an MCU means that this was their storyline, their world. There's nothing else that we could throw in and be like, oh, Spider-Man's going to come help Blade. Like, no, Blade is Blade. It's his universe. It's him and vampires.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. This is his universe. Yeah, okay, yeah, but I think the only way to make it, like, if it were to become canon, was to make his Earth another Earth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, kind of like the Spider-Mans and stuff. Because their universes, or their Earths, like in his, vampires are very real, and there's a tint over everything outside. There's tint. He lives in a tint world where there's, like, If you walk outside in Blade's world, there's a blue hue over it.
If you add it to the MCU, then you start adding in Blade's going to hunt down Morbius, and you know what I mean? It just
and he's going to say it's Morbin time?
Yeah.
With those talks about having Morbius in this one, but they never...
There's a deleted scene.
Yeah, never came.
Yeah. Morbius is in the deleted scene, but you know.
Well, I stand corrected.
Unfortunately, never. Yeah, you know.
Never came to fruition. So
as long as it's not Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty much it. That's our episode.
Yes.
Next episode, we are reviewing Spider-Man.
Beautiful.
OG, Tobey Maguire.
Sam Raimi, you beautiful bastard. Sam Raimi, yes.
The top 6 Sinister list, I keep forgetting the name of it. Top 6 Sinister list will be songs in a Marvel, used in a Marvel movie, trailer, whatever. Y'all want to start plugging y'all's social medias and everything?
Yeah, Craig, you want to go ahead and go first, man? We've enjoyed you on the podcast today,
Thank you.
So please let them know.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all letting me hop on. So podcaster. It's not something I thought I'd ever do, but when it's something like movies and Marvel and DC, it's you don't have to really think about it. It just kind of comes. So it's simple. My Twitter is I don't know if you've ever heard me say it, but my Twitter is the Tony Stank 20. So a little homage to Civil War whenever Stan Lee
delivers the package, right?
Yeah,
that's so cool.
And my I occasionally stream games on Twitch, which sometimes I stream the podcast on Mondays on it as well. It's the same thing, the Tony Stank 20. And those are really the only 2 platforms that I use. So,
you can find me at Mr. Frog 361. No, I'm just kidding. I wrote the review, guys. I needed content.
Leaving 1-star reviews on movies that I.
Yeah, I just changed the date to make it seem like I made it that long ago.
He's been playing chess with us. He did it in 2018.
Yeah, I need content. Yeah, I knew that this would happen. I was like, the population podcast is going on. We got to fight somebody soon, so I did this. Sorry, Franco. I knew this would happen. Y'all can find me on Instagram at FreshTV217. I post a lot of the stuff that I'm buying as far as action figures and stuff, and I'm enjoying using that account more because I know I've been absent, guys. If you do follow me, and forgive me, but Instagram did this really stupid thing where they were trying out this new layer that looked like TikTok, and it was just really dumb, and they did it to that page. So I was spending a lot of time on other Instagram because I hated this. But the Kardashians, as much as I disliked them, spoke up and Instagram made changes. So, when you got people with the most followers on there talking crap, and not only that, they started this suggested stuff where they were just throwing like all this stuff into my feed, and I'm like, come on, man, I want to see the people I follow, not this. So now I'm back on. Hope to post a lot more about the stuff that I'm currently hunting down and stuff like that, and just interacting more. Fresh TV, that's fresh with the PH as well.
That gave me a really good idea. I should start doing that. I have Instagram, but it's a lot of family and friends that I think would find my hobbies a little obsessive or weird. So if I were to add one where people actually want to go there to find that stuff, it would be under the same username. I'll try to make that tonight, actually. So, and start posting little tidbits of stuff that I find.
Nice.
That's a good idea. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's fun.
And y'all can follow me on Instagram, Wrestling Tacos. I post wrestling content related stuff. We have our podcast. This dropped Sunday, so it dropped yesterday. We reviewed Turning Point 04 TNA. Y'all go listen to that. It's only on audio because I fucked up and the video I deleted on accident, and now it's on audio. And if you're not on YouTube, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Emo Swap Productions on YouTube. We have a video every single day of the week. Monday is Cine-Men Movie Podcast live 7 to 9 p.m., which I don't know this week's episode, if you want to plug that, Craig.
This week's episode is A24's Marcel the Shell with shoes on. We've been hearing really good stuff about it.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go see it probably Saturday morning, Friday maybe. I really want to go see Bullet Train.
Oh, I'm going to see that this weekend. Bullet Train's on the top of my list.
I have the AMC A list where you get 3 movies a week, so
Oh,
You know?
I need to think of that, man, because I got the Cinemark rewards. You're not based in? Are you based? Not
I'm in Oklahoma
Texas, right?
City. No, Oklahoma
Okay, so
City.
you probably have a really nice AMC,
Yeah, we
right?
have one with the Dolby. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, our AMC here is not. It's no. They don't take care of anything there. So it's like it's not the place to get a membership, which sucks because I've seen people like I have the AMC stubs, and I'm like, man, I want that, but I can't get it because here it's not nice.
Yeah, so I live next to the Warren. I don't know the tornado that came through Moore. That
Oh man.
I live in that area now, which
Hmm.
the houses were cheap, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but I live next to the Warren, so I could go there. But the Dolby, dude, if you haven't been to a Dolby theater, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
I'm a big fan of movies and experiencing. Like watching films is a takeaway from everything shitty in life. It's like my moment to shine and be like, this is my world. Not really my world, but another world for however long it goes. Yeah. So I'm definitely like Bullet Train, and then Marcel the Shell. Me and my fiance watch a bunch of A24 films. So Marcel the Shell, she saw that and she's like, we're watching that one, right? And I was like, yes. And then it's like, oh, Marcel the Shell's coming out the same weekend as Bullet Train. And I'm like, girl, we may have to put Marcel the Shell on the back burner because Brad Pitt and Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Logan Lerman, and Michael Shannon, the list goes on.
Bunny.
I was like, yeah, Bad Bunny. Yeah.
when I saw the trailer, I was like, there's no way they got Bad Bunny in this movie. But
I was like, he's not speaking. That's for one. Like, he hardly speaks, so that explains how you get him. Like, you could be in it, but you can't talk a lot because we don't know how well you act. But yeah, I will say this, guys. Before we end the podcast, go subscribe to every single one of those that we just threw out there. The support always means a lot to us. It means the world to us. Criticism, we take to heart, and not in a bad way. We want to take it and utilize it to give y'all even better content the next time that we come on. Remember, you are more than welcome to disagree with us on our opinions. You won't always make the fight list. I only come for people on IMDb. Don't tell me that it's you that came. That'd be so funny, confronting somebody that I've put on the fight list. But with that being said, everything that Craig just said, everything that Franco just said, go follow them, show them support. Support always means the world. And also, like, doing stuff like this, it takes time out of our days to create this content. And it's kind of like, I want to say like a dopamine boost when we see that it's actually working, or that there are people that actually enjoy. So the follow may not mean like it's much or a like on a page, but it really does something to encourage us to continue to put out quality content and good content. And all of even the Cine-Men Movie Podcast put out great stuff. Wrestling Tacos, everything in the Wrestling Kingdom universe, the Emosuwa Productions universe, even that's really good stuff. There are countless. You're saying I need a podcast to listen to. There are countless hours of podcasts that people overlook because it's not impulsive with Logan Paul. All right, like I'm saying, like there are other podcasts out there that y'all can be listening to, and if you want to review, we're here to give it to y'all. It means the world. Again, we hope to continue to bring you great content, and thank y'all always for just showing support to what we do. That also means the world to us. So thank 100%. Y'all. Yes, thank you, Craig, for joining us on this as well.
No, thank you guys for having me. When Johnny asked me he's like, hey, these guys want to have you on their podcast. I was just like, why me? So I don't know what the reason is, but I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. I would love to be back on future episodes. I think it was fun, so I'd like to be back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on. We appreciate it. Thank y'all for listening, watching, subscribing, all that fun stuff. We'll catch y'all guys in 2 weeks. The 21st, I think. I don't know.
21st.
No. 21st. Reviewing Spider-Man. But until then, peace.
See y'all. Appreciate you.